How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Ludi tonight here on SplatoonTourney, and we got a pretty familiar set of commentators. Duo So Cracked, we brought it back. I'm Broken Pinky, joined here by the wonderful Sofa King, and we got one heck of a set queued up for tonight.
Oh, I am excited for this one, Pinky. I am getting a little bit of deja vu. Didn't we just do this last night with a really cool Div 4 set with Secret Elixir and EHS? No. This is a different story. We've jumped 3 divs, haven't we, Pinky? We're up to Div 1 now. We're giving you Hades versus the Slay Kings. What are your thoughts on this one going into it?
I mean, I'm just hoping this is going to be one heck of a competitive set. I'm excited to see, what both these two teams are ready to do, because we are in Div 1 playoffs. This is some of the best that this game has to offer, and I mean, quite frankly, I think these two teams are just ready to go at it.
I think so too. I mean, this is a slightly different format for Div 1 playoffs as opposed to Div 4, which we saw yesterday, in Div 10. We start with top 8 because there are less teams. So just getting to playoffs already gets you into top 8. And if you look at this bracket, it's a little bit tough to read. But, you're already in top 8. You win one match, you're in semifinals. And I believe that based on a tweet I saw earlier that I'll win did defeat Super Velocity. So they're waiting for the victor of this one in semifinals. But Pinky, I've always felt that Hades is one of these teams that is just so extraordinarily easy to root for. They've just got some great players, some great personalities, but we're looking at the same for the other side with Slay Kings, some big names on that pickup.
I mean, we got big names all around here. A lot of just phenomenal players. Yeah, here we see all the names. Dan, Kabi, Umber, and Beam up against Cuber, Trey, Adapt, Zen, Grape, and Violet. This is going to be one heck of a show. Both these two teams did very well in the group stages. Slay Kings going 5-0, Hades going 4-1, only losing to Catnip, I believe, in a 5-1 set score. But that was, relatively early in the season, and I mean, they've been building momentum ever since then.
They really have, and in these higher divisions, right, it's not like some of these lower level groups where some of these teams are probably going to disband before the Ludi season is even over. No, in Div 1, everybody's a monster. So when we're looking at these playoff matches, it's truly the monsters among monsters that we're seeing up here at the top end of the Ludi spectrum. But looking in at these maps here, yesterday we talked a lot about how the set that we casted was paced slightly differently because it's all dependent on which mode is played 3 times. For that set, it was Tower. For this one, it's Clams. How does that change the flow of this Ludi set?
I mean, that changes quite drastically, in my opinion, just because Clamlets, it's a much slower paced mode than Tower Control, just because you really have to take your time to get all the resources you need to get a proper push together. But I mean, it's really just going to focus a lot more on team synergy and coordination compared to all of the other modes. So I'm excited to see that being the mode of choice to be played 3 times, and that being followed up directly by zones. I mean, I feel like teams that are strong on clams are generally strong on zones as well. So it could be pretty easy for one of these teams to get a strong 2 games under their belt if they're sort of mode specialists.
I think you're right. It can be easy to build momentum in a set that's kind of laid out like this one is. I'm looking through these maps here, and I'm seeing if we see anything weird or funky. I mean, we do see, let's see, nothing too out of the ordinary that I'm seeing, which is pretty nice. I mean, Clamblitz Umami, some people can give or take it. I personally am a fan, but I'm seeing 9 maps here that are going to lend themselves to a very even set, and I just can't get over. I've watched a lot of Hades. I watched them in Alpha Bracket Super Jump the other day. We kind of know what they're about, but the Slay Kings, a newer pickup. You've got some Cherry Limeade in there. You've got Umbre. You've got Beam, who's just an outstanding player, especially at lands. Speaking of which, Riptide coming up, it seems like Beam pops off every time there's a Riptide. So I'm interested to see, though, with a pickup, how quickly they're able to gel. Clearly, they've done so far, but in the playoffs, Pinky, what's crucial to gain chemistry in a pickup environment like that?
I mean, I don't know how exactly I would say gain chemistry. It's just about sticking to your fundamentals, what you know has been working, what's gotten you to this point in the season, and what you can do to just continue that going. I mean, Slay Kings has yet to drop a Ludi set yet this season, so they're coming in here with the expectation of taking the set, and I think that can be daunting for some teams, but I think Slay Kings is ready to, stand up to the task and really just, put their best foot forward and get this set going in their favor.
Exciting stuff. I mean, we've talked enough about how great these two teams are. We've got massive resumes on each side. But taking a look, let's hone in on game one, right? For Mako Mart, what are we going to see as we open up this set? What kind of weapons tend to excel here?
I mean, the great thing about Mako Mart is that a lot of weapons excel here. Some of the stuff that comes to mind, though, is, stuff like Range Blaster and Splatana Stamper and Slosher. But given that those are some of the best weapons in the game already, even outside of this map, I figured, if we had any players with those weapons, they would likely be, coming out to play a little bit here. But I guess we don't have to speculate for much longer. Let's get right into it. The beginning of the quarterfinals of the Div 1 set between Slay Kings and Hades. We're seeing CRB, Squeezer, Shot, and Zap up against Wiper, Pencil, Bucket, and Shot.
Yeah, I knew that Bucket was going to be coming out from Grape, but, as soon as you said CRB, I was thinking, man, that is Umbre's bread and butter. So I think each side has a really dynamite player that they can look towards to make some plays here. In the early going, one will go down for Slay Kings, two will go down, not able to find the trade there, in the early ink advantage to Hades.
Oh, yeah, Hades already has a ton of this map painted, in their color, and I think they're going to be generally winning the paint battle with this comp, having the Bucket instead of the range and having that, Pencil with just the long painting range. And look at Grape already getting two nice doubles right under the enemy basket. Hades close to building up a power claim with Grape having 7. And Hades already off to a phenomenal start, getting an early score in the first 45 seconds.
Yeah, they're looking for some more claims. You see a crucial fight in the elbow where Trey is able to trade out, but Kuber's going to be rolling in to get a few more scores. Now, we always talk about, can you get it below 60 in your first push? It looks almost certain that will happen as Hades is trying to draw some attention around the side here. You see they have a hammer at the ready. One does go down. The push seems to slow down slightly unless this Pencil can get some more shots in, but Kabi is able to continue to be a staunch defense here for the Slay Kings. A wipeout. Pinky, though, getting it down to 44, that's a nice early push.
Oh, yeah. I mean, getting it down to 44 points in just over a minute is very nice. Hades, though, did go, full down in that push and recovering for it. So now, I mean, the door's really open for Slay Kings. They have the entire map to themselves at this point. That gives them, a lot of time to build up specials, to build up that clam economy and get a push going. Dan is going to be the one to break that basket here, but Slay Kings does not have that many clams to follow up behind, nor the control around the basket necessary to do so. So that push is probably going to stop, in the 70s. Beam gets a nice pick under the basket and is going to find some more clams in there, but Slay Kings is running out of time to keep this push going, even though they still have the player advantage.
Yeah, we saw a really nice pinch from Hades on the retake there as they were coming from different angles. They were making sure they were using their snipe and their TP to try and put a stop to what the Slay Kings were doing. And a nice pick by Umbre there to try and maintain numbers advantage. The Slay Kings already have a lot of clams built back up for another push.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Slay Kings are ready to keep going, and I mean, that's kind of the game plan they have to go. They did grab their pity clam while on that push. They just couldn't get to the basket in time, but, even still, Slay Kings, I mean, is already playing from behind. That's not a spot you want to be in. Umbre gets a nice direct to try and, get some stuff going, but this game, it really is just in true neutral, and I mean, Hades is kind of content with that. I would imagine, though, they still want to put some more work on that lead just because you can never play too passively in this game, especially on Clamless, where the score can kind of just melt away if you're not careful.
Oh my goodness, melt away it can on such a tight map as this. As we see Umbre kind of struggling versus the hammer there, trying to get a pick. Will opt to ignore the hammer, and Kraken is otherwise pinched. So numbers back for Slay Kings as they get 3 down. Dan is going to be rolling in to score this power clam, and we're going to be sitting at 65. They only have to score a few more, but they don't have a lot more as Beam is trying to roll around, dipping and dodging through that orange ink, dumping a couple more in as one goes down. Beam pulling out the Zuka, but now with their team 2 down, they may have to dive to get the lead. They're unable to, though. A nice stop from Hades.
Yeah, and they're going to force Dan to jump out. So, I mean, in a bit of a repeat of that first push, Slay Kings effectively went 4 down in the recoil, and now Hades has a ton of this map to themselves, and they still have the lead pretty firmly. I mean, even if Slay Kings is going to break the basket game with the power claim, that's not enough for the lead. So, Hades is sitting kind of pretty, but, I mean, you cannot get too, oh, wow, they go 2 down as soon as they say it. Yeah, you can't get too passive here. You have to keep your foot on the gas, or else Slay Kings is going to be running forward, and that's exactly what they're trying to do. They have a few members of Hades down, and they're just looking to push forward, but nice work on this Pencil just being, a good stopgap to a lot of the aggression that Slay Kings is trying to get started.
Wow, look at Violet moving in here with these strikes, trying to use the hammer. I see you trying to do some cheeky hitbox stuff over that ledge, Violet. That was pretty smart. Didn't get anybody, but still trying to hold off Slaykings as the pressure is still on them to make something happen. As one goes down for Hades, Umbre with the Kraken trying to press in as well on that pencil beam, has the Zook at the ready to try and take down backline. They're getting juiced up, but the Squeezer will go down on the side, trade it out, and oh my gosh, another trade to keep things in neutral with about 45 to go.
Yeah, so many trades happening, and I feel like that's exactly what the Viper on the side of Hades is trying to facilitate here. So it's working out for them in that aspect, but again, no scores are coming out, and we're getting to the point where, you know, the next team to score is probably going to win the game with 30 seconds left. So, I mean, Hades, you can't get, I mean, you have to defend with all you can because Slaykings has one final chance. They know they're kind of, you know, backed them in a corner, and they're ready to come at you with all they got. So resources are being built. Only the Viper has special at the moment, but I would imagine a few other members are close to it right now. I think I just heard a cooler get popped here for Slaykings as well, but picks are starting to come out. Range Blaster goes down, Bucket goes down. Big fight happening between the Viper and the Squeezer right now. It goes in the Viper's favor, and Hades might just get this hold.
Yeah, I think they're going to roll in here and score this ball, which will near instantly end the game, and that'll do it. Hades winning a tight game one. Man, I mean, that had a lot of what we wanted to see, right, Pinky? That saw close, nice pushes from either side, good defensive stops, a few wipes for either team. I think we are in for a good one.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if game one is already that close, separated by 9 points, I think we're going to be in for one heck of a show. And I'm just looking forward to see what the rest of the set has to offer. But yeah, I mean, as far as, you know, what, you know, made the difference in that game, it's kind of hard to put a pin on it. I feel like it's just so many small things that both of these teams did that just kind of added up that, I mean, it just felt like Hades was just like a quarter step ahead in a lot of their interactions with Slaykings. And I feel like, you know, especially on that defense, because Hades really only got one push together, but their defense was just so strong. And the Viper especially did such a great job of sort of rattling Slaykings on their push that it made it really hard for them to, you know, get a solid push together, you know, to the same effect that Hades did early in the game.
Yeah, I think to your point, the winning play for Hades was to draw the opponents away on that push from the ones who had the clams. It let the pencil go in with the clams. It let these other players go in with the clams, while the members of Slaykings were so concerned with fighting another fight that's what really drove that push down into these deep numbers to 44. Now, I'm thinking about the comps for these two teams too. Hades obviously is in a slightly better position. They've got the 1-0 lead, so they're under less pressure to change. Slaykings ran a double midline backless comp with the Squeezer and the CRB. Do you think they keep that, or do they need some way to counter the pencil?
I mean, they do have two Zookas with the Squeezer and the Shot. I mean, really 1.5 because of how low Squeezer special output is, but we know that Shot puts out a lot of Zookas, so I feel like Slaykings can definitely make it work with the comp that they had, but the pencil that Hades is probably going to be running here is going to be very strong, and yeah, we're going to see the same comps coming out here from both sides as we head on to game 2, Zones Barnacle. This is an interesting map to get us going.
Yeah, and I think on zones especially, like you said, that pencil will be extremely strong. It's just going to be dumping paint all over that zone, as well as, you know, the strikes coming out from the slosh. But the Viper will go down immediately for Hades. Early control for Slaykings. The Blaster's traded out by, I think, a Rogue Bomb or something of that sort. And this one's all going to be about the early specials, but Trey Zuka is shut down by the laser beam coming in. 2 go down for Hades, and this zone's going to flip to Slaykings very shortly.
I mean, it looks that way at first, but here comes Cuber on the pencil just being so good at painting the zone, and now the strikes are coming out, and Hades might just get this hold, never mind. But I mean, so early in the game, the points are so small that it doesn't really matter. It's just about, you know, who's going to get that actual hold on the zone for the long time. Violet's going to try and get something started with the hammer. It gets taken down, though, and now Slaykings trying to fight back. Hades only has 2 players up, but Slaykings does not want to push forward recklessly into that pencil and in that bucket, but now Hades got delayed wiped there, and Slaykings starting to move up forward. Violet trying to delay the inevitable just a little bit and stop Slaykings from getting set up on their plot, but they're going to go down, and now Beam is going to be on the enemy plot here, close to Izuka, and this could be the start of a great hold for Slaykings.
Yeah, they got a nice stagger as the Viper went in a little bit too early and wasn't coordinated with the Zuka. But Kabi's going to be here rolling through, trying to find another trade, working with this Kraken, but one will go down for Slaykings as Violet's rolling around, ducking, dodging, weaving, has the hammer at the ready to try and go in and pinch zone. Umbre is going to get caught by Grape here on the side. The hammer will get pinched otherwise. Pinky, this is such a bloody game, but Slaykings has gotten so many points off of this.
Yeah, but that's probably going to be the end of their push there to 21. Kavi is the last one alive, and as Squeezer, you cannot paint the zone there. Kavi's just going for picks. Whatever they can, but it's going to be taken down, I believe. Actually, no, Kavi is going to be popping the Zuka. They were able to escape from there, but now Hades is starting their hold on the zone, and they have a ton of paint in Slakings' area. So, I mean, that lead at 21 might look daunting, but Hades is closer than you might think, especially with Slakings being 2 down and Slakings not having a strong backline to sort of rally around on retake. It is kind of a blink and you miss it here. I mean, Slakings has to act really fast.
Yeah, you're right. It's going to be tough for them to get in without that backline presence here as Violet getting a crucial, oh my gosh, is not able to trade that out until Dan comes in to get it, but now Grape is holding Dan back. And if you're Slakings, you got to act pretty fast. You do have 2 specials at your disposal to try and get in on your snipe. I don't know that they see Violet sharking right there. As the lead flips back to Hades, Violet will get picked as the strikes will come out to neutralize that numbers advantage. You've got the Kraken coming in to try and set up, but you've desperately got to put paint down on the zone for Slakings. Can they flip it back? Can they do it? They do, and they go 2 up in the process.
Yeah, I think if Hades put a little bit more pressure on Slakings' plat, that could have been a knockout right then and there, but regardless, we are still playing this game. Hades has 6 points to Slakings 21, so Slakings definitely feeling the pressure, and they don't have a solid hold on zone yet. They finally get the pick on Violet, and they force him to jump out. It's just going to be Cuber on the pencil, the last one alive, and Cuber's backing up really fast and actually gets taken down for the troubles. So it's just going to be the shot with Zuka and the bucket that's fighting around the plat, but Zuka is not going to be able to find any picks, and all of a sudden, Slaking just 20 points away from getting the lead back, and from there, very close to a knockout here.
They've got the hammer to work with from Violet, as Violet's going to come in from the snipe. Now, it's okay if you give up lead. You just can't give up the knockout. And, oh my gosh, they might be able to salvage both. Violet does go down here. As the purple is not quite enough to do it. 2 will go down from the Zook. It's just Grape and Cuber. And no, Slakings is able to respond with a strong defensive game despite the lack of a backline. They even this setup at 1.
Yeah, I mean, it was just that one crucial moment where Hades, gave up that potential for the knockout because they didn't really put any pressure on the plat. And I feel like in that moment, Slakings was expecting it. They were moving very, carefully, expecting a shark from Violet somewhere. But it just wasn't, the pressure wasn't enough to delay Slakings from running forward. And I mean, as soon as Slakings got their chance back at getting the game, they took it and they ran with it.
That was an exciting one. And I mean, we have seen twice now 2 very, very close games to start off this set. So, hey, everybody in chat, get your popcorn ready. Find a comfy seat. This is going to be an absolutely outstanding Div 1 set to watch and to remember as we see 2 Titans going up against each other. Pinky, next up, we've got a game that can, on a map mode, that can end in a hurry. We've got Rainmaker on Scorch Gorge. Talk to me about this one.
Yeah, this is really, I don't know, in my mind, it's just New Age Black Belly, because once you get it past that checkpoint, and admittedly, it is kind of hard to get it up to that checkpoint, because you are literally fighting an uphill battle, but if you get past the checkpoint with sufficient control, 1 pencil shot and that red carpet is laid to get that point total from 70 to 17 in just a flash.
I mean, you're absolutely right that, you get the pencil stationed in the right place, you've got juice going, and that Rainmaker can gouge the opposing team quite deeply, which I'm sure Hades is going to be looking to do. Now, on the side of Slakings, though, you could be looking for a faster gameplay style that could benefit Rainmaker a little bit better. With your 2 mid lines, you don't have to wait for the pencil to join you anywhere safely. Everybody's kind of rolling on that front line mostly at the same time. So I think we could see a very interesting game unfold where it's going to depend upon, is Slaking's pacing kind of like linking up to what the opposing pencil wants them to do, or are they too fast for it? What are we going to see there?
I mean, to that effect, I feel like Hades has been doing a great job of pushing with their pencil. I think Cuber has done a phenomenal job of exempling that, in the modern day, pencil wants to be aggressive and wants to be hunting for picks. And I mean, Cuber has been doing exactly that, and it's been working for Hades very well. So I don't think that's a real worry for them, but I mean, Slakings can certainly move faster. But now Hades has a separate anchor, in its own sense. Trey's going to be switching onto that 52 gal with the opening gambit. And I mean, having that extra mobility and having, a wall that can just present itself anywhere is really strong for Hades here.
Yeah, what you lose in Zuka, you gain in a weapon that can maybe contest the midlines of Slakings a little bit better, because we already see Trey trying to find something, but Dan and another will shut that down with a pinch. The bucket poking up at the top, a nice fall off for Slakings, as they're getting a big early numbers advantage. They're going to grab here soon, and let's see if they can make a play for the check.
Oh yeah, I mean, if they can get an early check going, this could set the pace of the game incredibly well here. Dan is going to be the one holding the Rainmaker on that zap. It's going to be the shot, RB, and Squeezer, but none of them have been able to make it past the checkpoint here. And Violet, trying to defend, is going to find the pick on the Squeezer, and it's just the Rainmaker and the Range Blaster as the last two alive. Umber has to find his pick. Is not going to be able to do so in time, and Violet is going to get the defense, but Umber is still here with the Kraken, trying to find the pick for Violet to let Slakings roll out in the mid safely, but Violet's just staying unfound, it seems.
Yeah, and with the hammer ready too, this could do a lot of damage, but the Squeezer is able to sniff out Violet as Kabi's trying to progress forwards against the strikes. But 2 will go down once again for Hades, and it seems like every time we're in neutral, Slakings is winning the fight. They just have not relented mid yet.
Oh yeah, Slakings is really strong in keeping Hades in disadvantage and feeling like their neutral is just advantageous for them. And I think, I mean, that just is owed to how much more flexible the weapons they're playing, are. They can be a lot of points at the map at pretty much any point, and Hades doesn't quite have that luxury, but what Hades is missing in that, they make up for, just the raw range and the distraction ability in that Wiper Bucket pair. So, I mean, let's see what's going to happen, but it looks like Slakings is slowly relinquishing mid as Hades is moving forward, especially with Violet on the hammer, trying to find some picks. It's going to get taken down, but 2 go down on either side. 3 down is just Dan for Slakings, but Dan able to find the pick on the Maker and is going to go 1-for-1 with Grape trading in the middle, but Violet jumps in to get mid captured for Hades, and this could be a huge opportunity for them.
So much stuff just happened. I'm like in awe at the series of rapid fire events that we just saw. But ultimately, what it has resulted in is still a game that's in neutral, as we see another trade from Kabi. Violet kind of sharking around the edges here, again using the hammer. I'm not sure if Violet meant to do that to Pop or was trying to get through the other side, but gets a hammer pick either way, as we see Umbre sharking around here, trying to find a pinch. And this seems like both sides are trying to create those 2v1 encounters in mid, but it's not quite able to happen. However, Hades is going to get a check with a nice whale and wall combo here to take the early strong lead.
Oh, and one dies to Pop here, so we might just see... Oh, the bomb! The clutch bomb gets the pick on the Maker to stop the lead at 57. That might be just enough time, but Grape Strikes is trying to clear the path for them, and Grape is just going to swim forward, gets it down to 32. Hades is not around here, but if they can find some picks... Oh, but Violet gets taken down by the Maker. 32 is where the lead is going to stand here for Hades, unless Trey can make a miracle strike happen. No, they're going to opt back out instead. So 32 is the mark for Slakings to beat. They don't even have a checkpoint, yet, but even still, that was a great push from Hades, but Slakings definitely has it, in the cards to win this game if they play them right.
Yeah, you know what I like about this matchup is that despite being the, on paper, slower comp from Hades, is they've just got this poppy offense that's like, it doesn't matter if we don't have mid for 3 minutes, we're going to get it and get a huge lead in like 30 seconds. So they can just do, it's seemingly whatever they want, whenever they want. And then Slakings, they have a very kind of like stally, they're very good at holding space for a long time, but we're going to see if they've got it in them to make this push even just to the check.
Yeah, I love that point. I feel like I feel like Hades is a comp that exists to sort of deny progress from the enemy team, and Hades is a team that exists to, get strong hold going for a long time. And I mean, those are playstyles that you don't often see matched up against one another. So it's interesting to see just this clash of ideologies here, but so far it's looking a little bit in the favor of Hades right now in this third game. They're going to lose the Rainmaker in the same spot as last time at that 32-point mark. Trey is going to be striking behind, is going to find one pick, is going to try and find another here, and this 2v1 is still staying alive by this wall somehow, backing off, and is going to get an assist, and another teammate grabs it and runs it to 24, and at this point, with 30 seconds left, Hades is just trying to stall for time and delay the counter push from Slakings as much as possible, and Trey, still living in their walls, finally going to back up with 20 seconds to go for Slakings to get a push started.
How long was Trey there, dude? That was insane. Some crazy survivability up front there for Hades as the Rainmaker is reset. But Umbre, nice chip there. Look how little control the Slakings have over this area here as they're still trying to fight people out of their own base. They've still got to grab this Rainmaker. They are able to get the pop, but this is going to be their last shot here, and there could be Sharkers anywhere. Obviously, we can see where they are, but the members of Slakings cannot. We head into overtime. Umbre trying to chip up front. Kabi has to be super, super careful here.
Absolutely, and I mean, having the Squeezer pick up the Rainmaker is I mean, that does not bode phenomenally here for their chances of getting this checkpoint, but at least, the Rainmaker's going to reset if and when they get there. So right now, Umbre is trying to push up. It's going to get taken down by Violet, though. Pencil is going to get the pick on Kabi. It's 2v3 in favor of Hades right now, and they just have to get this pop. They're going to do so, and the GG Strikes is going to seal it. Hades is going to be getting game 3 here.
Strong win from Hades. That was, I mean, here's the thing. All of these games have been close, which is why it's kind of shocking that a close game 3 like that was also the most dominant win we've seen thus far in this set. For Hades to really come back with a really strong push in the middle of the game, hold it with nice defense. We saw the GG hammer strike combo. It's almost like they let him have that check and it's just like, you can have the check, because as soon as that Rainmaker shield comes back up, we're going to win anyway. I just am really liking what I'm seeing from both these teams.
Oh, yeah. I mean, both these teams, they know their win conditions so well, and they're just trying, they're trying their absolute best to play to them. I mean, so far in 3 games, it's worked for Hades twice, it's worked for Slakings once, but I mean, it is too close to call which of these styles is going to be working out better in the end. But it looks like this Hades is doing a great job at, denying Slakings from taking the space that they so dearly want to with that backless comp, and it's been working out for them beautifully so far. So if Hades can keep the ball rolling, they'll be in a great spot. But game 4 is going to be switching it up here to tower control on Hagglefish Market, and we'll see what Slakings can do to try and get momentum back in their favor.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what's going to happen here because we've got a lot of weapons that can be strong. For Hades, obviously Wiper and Bucket can do work here with the height elevations that we see on this map. The same thing with Pencil, but for the side of Slakings, you've got CRB, which cooks here. You've got Squeezer, which can really lock down either mid or one of the streets. So we've got a lot of very interesting matchups, assuming nobody changes, but we've seen very little changes this.
Yeah, I mean, Slaking's been sticking with a lot of, this. I mean, they've been keeping the same comp for all 3 games so far. I almost want to see them change something, though. I feel like double frontline into what Hades is running is not going to be that effective, especially because, Wiper and now the 52 gal that Hades is running is really good at shutting down frontline, especially shot and zap. So if I'm Slakings, I'm thinking about, what do I have in my pocket? But we might just be seeing the same 4 coming out on both sides. And yeah, we're seeing the same 4. Beam on the shot, down on the zap, and we're going to be seeing the same 4 as last game here from Hades. So let's just get right into it. Game 4.
Yeah, what Hades is doing is working well so far. For Slakings, though, these are the only 4 players on their roster, so they do not have other weapon pools that they can sub in and out. Obviously, the individual players can choose different weapons, but it's these 4 dudes for the whole way. There's an early 2-0 advantage with a nice opening from the Slakings. They're going to catch Violet out in the open there to go up 3-0, and wow, we are seeing a fast start from the Slakings.
Oh, yeah. I mean, first 30 seconds already, putting work on that first checkpoint. And this is a crucial first checkpoint. And whoa, Ombre is just being ruthless by these ledges. 3 go down to the side of Hades, and there's just 1 left. Who's the real king of the underworld here? It's gotta be Ombre at this point. And already Slaking's at a crucial second checkpoint, what would normally be a bottleneck, but Hades is mostly absent here. The backline goes down, but it's just gonna be Ombre, and that's not gonna be enough to break the check on its own. But what an opening push from Slaking's, already getting down to 38, but Hades quick on the uptake, already have mid entirely in their control.
Hey, if you don't change weapons, you can at least change your play style, and we did see Slakings make some adjustments to play more towards Hades' pace there. We're going to see if Hades can respond. They just used Whale. They've got Strikes and Hammer at the ready, but a Zook coming out again on the side of the Slakings from Beam, which we saw so effective earlier. The Hammer will get picked, flipping numbers back to the Slakings, and holy moly, Pinky, this has been a good one.
Oh, this has been a great game so far. A minute and a half gone. I mean, Slakings looks to be pretty dominantly in the lead, but I shudder to consider what happens once Hades gets their foot on the gas, and it looks like that is starting to happen here with Cuber on the tower, and just the sightlines Pencil can get on this vantage point are going to be so strong, especially once it gets towards that second checkpoint. But here comes Ombre with the Kraken, and that's a great, sort of clear tower button, but not if you rush in too recklessly like that to get caught out. And right now, 3v3 on both these sides. Kabi taking a ticket for the long way round, but Hades getting close to getting that lead back in their favor here. And they're going to be doing just that. And if the second checkpoint is going to fall, that could be disastrous for Slakings here.
I think it could, and it looks like it will, as the Slakings will get 3 down. But like you said, that checkpoint being down makes future pushes all that much more dangerous, and now the onus is on them to respond with another massive push. They've got 3 specials at the ready, though. The Pencil's going to be the main thing that's going to be stifling their movement early on. They see Violet flanking. Let's see how they react to it, as the Zuka's going to come out as well, getting a nice chipped kill there. But man, it seems like they've just got to do a lot to get up into these happy areas, forcing a jump jump out, though. Umbre's going to try and pinch the pencil. Oh, my goodness. Into the Kraken is going to try and pinch somebody else. A nice trade out there. The bucket's the last one, and the forced jump out. And if they can get happy spots here, this might be a lead flip.
This might just be a lead flip here. So if Violet trying to get a hammer pick is going to be doing it, it's going to get the tower right in the process. And that's going to be all Hades needs to get the tower back in their favor. 1 point short of the lead, and Beam cannot do it. Is going to be forced to jump out. What is going on here? 28-29, 2 minutes to go, and Hades is still in the lead. They will not give it up that easily.
What we saw was absolutely pristine special value from both sides as Cuber is able to get one, but Violet trading out another on the side, trying to poke in on Umbre. The Hammer's going to be contesting Umbre, though, is able to get another one of their team members. And now Hades has a massive numbers advantage once again, as it's just, oh my gosh, super poppy plays back and forth from each team.
Oh, yeah, and right now Hades is touching that tower. They're going to have more special advantage, and they already have specials being popped right now with the strikes. They have Whale at the ready as well being popped, and they might just be trying to extend their lead, or they might just try to keep the tower on Slaking's side, which is its own great idea because, I mean, the more often the tower is going to be on the enemy side, the less chance they have to push it back. And, I mean, they're just extending their lead right now even deeper into the 20s right now. 23 is where it's going to stand. Violet dueling with Kabi right now, trying to find that pick and just trying to stall for time as much as possible because, I mean, at this point, Hades has now had more than enough time to respawn, regroup, and get a defense started.
Yeah, we saw a couple of jump-ins to that flank along the far side. I'm interested to see. It looks like the bucket will go down off screen. Trey's kind of holding down some space there, but I think Violet is still behind everybody as Trey will get pinched. Violet, though, is going to come around from the back here, has Hammer ready. Does Beam know that? I sure hope so, but forcing a jump out, and now Hades has to play defensively.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Hades is going to be on the defense for the rest of this game. This is the last chance for Slakings, and the Kraken is going to come out and get the pick on that oh-so-annoying Hammer, and Violet is going to be out of the picture for just a little bit. Already back respawn, but this bucket is going to get taken down early. Cuber finds the pick onto Beam, though, before they can pop Zuka, but Kabi finds the pick in return, and Trey is here on the hut. 2 points for lead, 1 point for lead. Lead is in favor of Slakings here with 10 seconds to go. They're going to get it, but they're going to go down, and Hades is going to force an overtime, but 20 points is where the lead stands, and now this shoe is on the other foot here. Hades has to get it down to 19 to get this game.
Did you ever think you would see a cool, even set like this one? My, how the Slakings have come roaring back in Game 4, and they're trying to keep this lead as we see 3 specials online for Hades. But Azuka from Kabi is going to try and shut it down, getting one. The cooler's kind of in the way, but Violet's coming up with the hammer to get a pick. Umbre, though, contesting tower, trying to fight Trey. Trey will be picked. Umbre's fighting Cuber now. The Zuka coming in to get 1, get 2. It's just the wiper, and Slakings hops on to tie this thing up.
That was just a back and forth game, man. That reminds me, I think it was, I forget which tournament it was, but you remember that Rainmaker Kelp Dome game where the lead went down from 9 to 7 to 5? That was the vibe. That was the vibe I got from that game. It went from 38 to 28 to 23 to 20. Like, it was just so tight and back and forth as soon as the word go said on the screen.
Yeah, one of the classics for sure. And I mean, that was just prime tower control Hagglefish. That is why people love this map as a very even map. It's easy for multiple different kinds of comps to push and defend here, and ultimately it all comes down to how these teams are using their specials and their weapons, and we saw some terrific moments on both sides.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that game was a highlight reel. Like, I refuse to believe that game was 5.5 minutes long. That was that was the feature-length film in the form of Splatoon. Like, my goodness, everything was happening everywhere. If there's one game I could take as just a snapshot of how close of a set this is shaping up to be, this is it. And I mean, I'm using my commentator powers to predict the future here. I think Sofa, we're in for a 9-game series.
Or for 9. Hey, if there was some magical, like, 0.01% chance clause in the Ludi rules where it's like, oh yeah, this set and only this set can go to 11 games. This is the one where we would see that. But like you said, this Game 4 is kind of a microcosm of what we've seen thus far with these terrific pushes from either team, both teams sticking to their guns, but also adapting to what the other team is doing. This is prime loot. Hey, that's why these guys are in Div 1, folks, because they are putting on a terrific show for us, and we're heading to Clam Blitz on Crab Leg. Now, Game 5 is always the one where things with the set start to come into focus. You've played each mode once, so you can kind of start to circle back to what happened previously in that mode to kind of discern, all right, where's this thing going? And game one, I mean, it seemed like Hades had the slight edge there.
Hades did have the slight edge. I mean, Slakings was able to get more, pushes to the basket, but Hades had the stronger hold once they got there. We're going to be seeing the Splatana Stamper be coming out on the side of Hades here from Violet instead of that Wiper, which, makes a lot of sense. Stamper is really strong on this map, just being able to ledge peek so incredibly effectively, but a big difference from this map compared to Clams on Mako Mart is that the basket is so much farther away, and there's really only one, place to funnel that power clam through, so we might be seeing even more infrequent pushes than we saw in game one.
Very true. Yeah, it's less of a tight map that we were talking about before, as Kabi's going to get picked off. 2 will go down. A nice forced jump out there for Hades, and they do have the Clams to start to get rolling soon. They've got 7 and a power line on the ground. We'll see. Oh my gosh, is that power going to expire? No, it is not. Thank goodness. Hades just with massive ink control here. They've got the Zip ready too.
Yeah, they have Zipcaster ready. I mean, Zipcaster's a little bit awkward on this map, but they do have the Zuka as well. Violet is going to be popping it, trying to clear a path for the teammates. Paired with the Zuka, they're going to find one pick, but it seems like that's all they're going to get here as Beam pops their own Zuka, is going to get taken down though by the Zipcaster, but the 52 is down, and yeah, Hades is not going to be able to push off of this. Cuber here is just trying to take a strong position here, but 2 go down on the side of Hades. Slaking's pushing forward. Kabi's going to force a jump out. It's going to be brawling with the last one as they get taken down for a delayed wipe here on the side of Hades, and now Slaking's already aggressing. They have a power claim at the ready, and they have Kraken to try and corral players away from the basket as much as possible.
Oh my goodness, the crucial one member of Hades falling down and having to jump back to Cuber there, as the Kraken will come in to cause some havoc. 2 members will go down. The Kraken now somewhat out of position and very pinched, but Umbre, making the most of it, is able to get one. I thought Umbre was going to get a second one there, but Grape able to clear that up, and we're back in neutral.
Yeah, Grape is thanking their lucky stars. That we all felt that direct coming to happen, but Grape is lucky enough to not be on the receiving end of that. But I mean, we are back to a very neutral heavy game, and that's exactly what what we should come to expect on this map mode here. It's just going to be 4 minutes of neutral likely, with one team finally going to be breaking through. Right now, though, Hades has had control of mid for much longer, especially backed up by that pencil, was just so strong in this map mode, and 2 are going down on the side of Slakings. Hades might just be able to tear the door off its hinges, but the players of Slakings know where to defend that choke point from, and it's going to leave that power claim there kind of stuck. Trey's going to try and grab it, but no more progress is going to be made toward that basket, it seems like.
Yeah, Dan and Umbre doing a very good job of saying, like, okay, you can get our teammates, but we'll just let you walk into us since we're midlines, and we're just going to defend this ramp. And now the numbers are rapidly flipping the other way, as Beam is looking to get set up with a Zuka here on elbow, trying to evade the other Zuka and the Stamper as well. We see the Zuka. I don't know if it got anything, but Kabi's going to replace them up here in the corner. Beam going down, though, as, oh my gosh, Hades is able to get a 2-0, 3-0 numbers advantage, and it's just Umbre stuck in Kraken, leaving a wide open path to the basket. It looks as though Cuber's going to score this. Let's see how many more they can get.
I mean, with this kind of game, a power claim might be enough, but Hades wants more than that. But Grape, their only clam carrier, is pretty far away from the basket right now, with no real, recourse of making it back over there. So it seems like the lead is going to be standing at 74. I mean, not a bad lead on a map that's as hard to score on in this one, especially since Slakings is still 2 down. So they have 1:45 seconds to get a lead beyond 74, which is certainly doable, but something has to change for them quickly, because right now, I mean, Trey is still rattling them on their plat, and there's still, 2 down. It's really hard for Slakings to get something together now, and the time to do so is running out.
Yeah, I mean, if they combine another ball here and win one fight, they could be scoring again, which is crazy. I don't know that they see Trey here. Trey's going to be able to get Dan, and with that wall, set up a nice thing here. Now, if you come from really away from that pencil, you can score this ball, and it does seem like that's the plan now. But Kabi has had time to rotate around here. The Stamper's going to be trying to contest, and you lost that one sliver of time that you had to try and get that ball in.
Yeah, but I mean, I like that Hades didn't try to force that ball anyway, because scoring, just getting a power claim in at this point is very risky, because you're giving more, ammo to Slakings on their counter push, but Hades doesn't seem to mind too much. He's going to be breaking that basket. Points are coming. We're past the 60-point mark. 52 is where the lead is going to stand right now, with 45 seconds to go. But at this point, I mean, Hades, they just have to prevent Slakings from scoring with all they have right now. But 4v2, Slakings is probably going to be able to fight back and to stop any more points from coming in from the side of Hades. So now Slakings 35 seconds left of regular time plus 20-second overtime to get something started in their last chance here for game 5.
Yeah, I wish I could see where that Zuko was going early on, because it just seemed like it was not able to find a lot of value. But Slay Kings is juiced up and ready to go now. However, the Squeezer will go down. Two will go down. Umbre's going to get pinched here, and now there's only the Zap left alive as everybody's rolling in. Oh my gosh, Trey seizing the moment there and is able to roll in. Now, with only 10 seconds left, I mean, Hades might be in a position to score again, or at least make another push attempt.
Yeah, I mean, right now, 20-second overtime is all that Slay Kings has to work with. They have their two pity claims, grabbed by their own members, but one is going to go down incredibly early. Kawi going to be forced to burn the Zuka all the way back here. They do have another Zuka and a Kraken at the ready, and they're going to have to use those expertly if they want to get there. But with just about 5 seconds left of this overtime, Umbre going to pop Kraken, and that is going to be the end here of Game 5. Hades is going to be taking another game on Clamlets, and it's going to be the first team past that 3-game threshold.
You know, we previously said that the Rainmaker Scorch win for Hades was the most dominant one of this very close set. But no, we've got a new contender. Hades led from top to bottom in Game 5. That was the only game, of this set thus far that was truly quite one-sided in Hades' favor.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think Slay Kings definitely had moments of brilliance, but Hades was just dictating the pace of the game from the word go. And I mean, Slay Kings never really was able to get their foot on the gas. They were just kind of trying to hold on for dear life in the face of all that Hades was throwing at them, especially with Trey just being an absolute menace on that 52 gal. And yeah, I mean, Hades just played that game beautifully here, and Slay Kings really is going to have to go back to the drawing board and try and find some sort of response, especially if the mode returns to Clamlets, because it seems like they're not the strongest on that mode compared to their counterparts here.
Next up, we are taking you to lunch, taking you to dinner at the Robo Rocket Shop. Splat Zones. Now, Pinky, the last time we saw this one, it was on Barnacle, and this one was a super back and forth game that Slay Kings ended up winning. As we see, it looks as though no team has yet won 2 games in a row. Do you think that trend will continue?
I mean, yeah, I think the trend is going to continue. I think these teams are going to continue to trade games all the way to the end, and that Game 9 is going to be the true battle of wits and a battle of wills at the very end. As for Ramen, I mean, it's somewhat similar to Barnacle and like how the map is laid out. You know, instead of your streets, you do have that tunnel that sort of, makes its way around mid. But I don't know, this is going to be an interesting one here. I think Pencil is very strong on this map. I mean, it's easy to say that about most maps, but especially here, it has such great sight lines on this map. But Slay Kings really seemed in their element on that Splat Zones game, but even still, it was so close, it could realistically go either way.
Yeah, I think you said it. Pencil's strong in this map. You can put an asterisk next to the word map and just have a note at the bottom saying game. It's strong in this game. It's tough to win when you're going up against a Pencil because it's got the paint, it's got the kill power, it's got the Zook or the juice spam. It's got everything you could want from a powerful anchor weapon, and anchors do tend to shine on Splat Zones. We did not see that be the case on Barnacle, as Slay Kings were able to kind of roll over and counter what Hades was able to do. But looking at what they're bringing here, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And on the other side, ooh, did you expect to see the Stamper return?
I wouldn't say I was expecting it. I think Hammer is reasonably strong here, but Splatana Stamper is just a kind of weapon that you can reasonably pick on pretty much any map mode and make it work. So let's see what Violet is cooking here.
As we see early numbers as Trey is picked off in mid, Umbre's going to be trying to poke that Pencil. Umbre's been doing such a great job, but all of his teammates are going to be going down. Rolling up, the Stamper's going to get 2 there, and a nice early advantage for Hades. Man, it looks like they want to start to make this a lopsided set.
Yeah, I mean, if Hades is going to take this game, that would put Slay Kings in a dire position as far as the rest of the set goes. So Slay Kings definitely does not want to give up this game, without a fight here. But Hades is just holding on to mid very solidly, having that Sprake there above them to continue paint on the zone. And Slay Kings hasn't really had a response yet, and the Squeezer going down is not boding well for them, as already Hades getting beyond that 50-point threshold.
This has been a strong start here, and with the Squeezer of Slay Kings going down, as you said, that's an early stagger. The Zuka, though, finding one. That's going to be an entry tool to try and get back in. The Squeezer, though, going down once again, traded out with the Stamper, as Beam's going to be rolling in. You got to try and flip this zone back if you can get those members to scamper off, but the Kraken looking for a pinch instead. Nobody is there to help Umbre, and he'll be pinched, and it looks like this zone is, oh my gosh, it is going to flip orange, giving Slay Kings a fighting chance as they get another pick traded out by Violet.
Yeah, I mean, finally Slay Kings is going to be able to get, in control of the zone, get their, foot on the gas, get to be able to set the pace of this game. But, I mean, as soon as we say it, Hades gets the zone back and is going to be able to trade out with that squeezer. So, this is looking a little bit rough for Slay Kings right now. They don't have much more time to levy a response, but 2 down, 3 down, delayed wipe on Hades is going to be enough for it. So, it's really going to come down on how well they can hold on to Hades' plat and how well they can prevent the opposing push from starting.
Yeah, Beam's Zuka seems like it's single-handedly keeping Slay Kings in this game, so we need some more offensive maneuvers by them, and going 1 down at the start of your hold, 2 down by the Zook is not going to be the way to do that, as the members are going to have to scramble back. Ombre forced to Kraken out and back to straight. A nice pinch there, but oh my goodness, they didn't even give up zone off of that. Oh my gosh, Hades was not able to flip, and they'll go 1 down. Violet is going to land into a pick there, and 2 go down. Cuber's forced to jump out. Trey's going to be stuck here, is also going to be forced to jump out, and that's going to be the lead for Slay Kings in the blink of an eye.
Lead and potential for knockout here. Just have to hold on to the zone for about 20 more seconds. That zone timer ticks down much faster than you would think here. And already, I mean, Zuka's going to be popped out of desperation. He gets taken down in return here. And 10 points to go for Slay Kings to get this knockout going here. Beam is going to be defending by the splash wall, but 2 players up for Hades cannot make it work on their own. And Slay Kings in a 100-0 rug pull is going to even the set count 3-3.
Did you expect anything less than an even set all the way? Hey, after Hades really stomped on him in the game prior to this, and then got out to a 67-point lead to start this one, I was thinking, man, that was it. Hades figured it out. But no. Slay Kings, led by Beam's insane Zuka, was able to pull off an improbable hold through the 50s when they just got some insane value flip picks on Hades. Oh my gosh, Pinky, I'm just in awe of how they won Game 6.
It's not impossible, just improbable, and Slay Kings is seeming to live and die by that mantra right now. Going to be able to even up that set count. And I mean, again, what was a pretty dire position, as far as the score is concerned, not getting any work on the zone and 33 points to go, but in one fell swoop, just a few just excellently choreographed positions right there. That was the moment that sealed the game, the pick on the enemy Zuka, with 20 points to go. Just so many little moments from Slay Kings that came together beautifully on their push. And I mean, all of a sudden, I mean, this is as even as a set as we've been seeing from the beginning.
This is truly thrilling, and I hope that you guys are going to stick around with us through to the end. We've got a guaranteed Game 8, maybe a Game 9, as we head into what is now Game 7 on Rainmaker Museum to see who can take a crucial 4-3 lead here after this one.
Yeah, we're going to see Violet going back to the Wiper. I think Violet's picked up Stamper in the last 2 games, one for one with it. It's going to go back to the Wiper they're more comfortable with, and I think, we talked a bit earlier about, there's not being any weird maps in the set. I think this one is the weirdest of the bunch, just in that, it's a pretty clear pass to that first checkpoint. But once you get onto the plat, I mean, so much good defensive high ground makes it really hard to get a push started. So, a lot of the neutral's not really going to matter, especially since, we're already 2-2. Violet going to make their way to the enemy plat, but it's just going to be about what happens after that checkpoint's going to fall.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. As much as the Splat 1 vet in me rankles at the thought of Museum, my beloved, being called weird, I think you are right that it is kind of the odd duck here, as we see a nice Zuka pick on Trey there to defend. This Rainmaker has been held for quite some time, not really able to move anywhere, as the forces of Slay Kings are going to be coming up, getting a nice pinch. Violet's got that hammer at the ready, which we've seen be so effective. Not able to pop it, though. And Slay Kings, they're rolling off a couple of nice picks, as I don't know that they see Trey here, which will pick the rain and deny them the check.
Yeah, not getting check on this map is an awkward position to be in, as the Rainmaker's just right there. Beam is not going to grab it off the go for the Zuka pick, is not going to be able to find it, though. And I mean, Slay Kings just letting that Rainmaker sit there by checkpoint, finally going to grab it and going to get that checkpoint there. Not a lot of players up on either side here, though. It's actually just going to be the pencil on the side of Hades, though, and Slay Kings going to be trying to take it to the bank. Rainmaker's going to be grabbed and is going to start to move forward here. Kabi going to run forward past all the players down to 32. It looks like this is going to be the end of the push for now, but never mind. Here comes Dan to grab it and get even more points to sneak through the blind spot here. 23 is where the lead is going to stand. Jumps are still coming in, though. This is not a battle won by Hades just yet.
No, not in the slightest is Umbre able to get a great pick. The Rainmaker is dumped off, though, just in time, because the Slay Kings still have a massive advantage here, as Umbre is going to be kind of haunting up in this elbow area, swimming all the way back around his Dan, though. One down for Slay Kings, traded back out, and Grape rolls in to put a stop to it. Can Grape get two? Grape will trade out Beam for a nice flip of numbers there, but a lot of repainting to do Hades has.
Yeah, a lot of work to do to sort of rebuild the map, in their picture right now. Kabi is just going to be trying to find this pick onto Violet, who's just been a massive thorn in Slay King's side. And Violet just poking under this ledge, doing what Splatoon is. He was actually going to find the pick onto Kabi doing so. And that is going to be a great, start of that counterattack by Hades, immediately getting that first checkpoint out of the way. And now, I mean, it's kind of free real estate for them. Violet's going to find another pick. There's one player positioning defensively. Hammer's going to try and come and find them, but Slay Kings is not going to be able to defend the Rainmaker enough. 22-23 is where the lead stands. And in a repeat of that Game 4, the lead is just separated by inches right now.
Yeah, it's crazy how Hades has done this twice. Now, there's still a good amount of game to go, but in 2 games now, they have done a clutch Rainmaker push to get ahead of the opposition there. A nice Suka shot by Grape to put a stop to the stall tactics. Oh my gosh, looping it over mid and able to get another one, and Hades is going to be able to make another push attempt here with roughly 90 seconds to go.
Yeah, I mean, Hades is just going to offer the strategy of keeping the Rainmaker in their hands so it's not in their opponents. And that's just the best way to stop your opponent from pushing is by pushing yourself. But it's going to kind of backfire on them. The Rainmaker's going to get taken down. 3 go down on the side of Hades there. Slay King's trying to ready response, but they have to get Trey out first. Trey's actually going to jump out for them, saving onto that killer whale. So a minute 20 to go. Violet, though, still being ever present and ever obnoxious here in the face of Slay Kings, is finally going to get traded out. But I mean, Hades already back in mid and just preventing Slay Kings from moving as they have been for all the sets.
Yeah, this is a really nice effort to just stall and to hold mid and to waste the opponent's time, like you said, which is exactly what you want to do, because even though it's only a 1-point game, a push to 21 is pretty deep in enemy territory, not an easy thing to do. Kabi is able to find one. Now, you don't have a whole lot of time to rebuild, but Beam is trying to make that numbers advantage even more in Slay King's favor. The Wiper will go down off screen, and now you're trying to roll into Plat. Another nice, clean fight won by the Slay Kings, and they're going to have a real shot at this with the Kraken online from Umbre. One will go down. The Pencil will be able to pick another member of Slay Kings, but the Kraken rolling in now a fair bit ahead of the Rainmaker, trying to find a target. Oh my gosh, Pinky, and that's going to be a nice defense from Hades.
3 go down, 2 go down on top of each other, I believe to Izuka, and that might just spell the end here of Game 7. As, I mean, at this point, Slay Kings is probably not going to get the Rainmaker. It could just be run backwards. Instead, it's going to be run forwards, but 2 players left on the side of Slay Kings. That Rainmaker is going to be in that pit in a very hard spot to push, especially as Dan is going to be taken down by the Rainmaker with 5 seconds to go. Hubert just going to be chilling down here. Kabi is probably going to find a pick, but not if Hubert can dance around the block enough, and he's actually able to evade it, and Hades is going to go up 4-3 and is now at set point.
That was a great game, and we're gonna say it again. Would you expect nothing less of this set than yet another 1-point game, this time on Rainmaker Museum, as these 2 teams both have shown themselves with a few very minor exceptions to be very evenly matched.
I mean, that game was literally separated by 1 point. Like, come on.
A game of inches, truly.
Are you kidding? A game of centimeters at
centimeters,
that.
Yeah.
It would just the thinnest of margin is all it takes for one of these teams to get the leg up over the other. And I mean, that was in such contrast to the other Rainmaker match we saw in Scorch that was, a lot more one-sided. And it's just, it goes to show that these teams are learning and adapting to one another as the set goes on. I mean, the teams at the start of the set are not the same as the teams at the end. So I'm just excited to see what's going to happen. Slay Kings now down but not out. Has to win these next 2 games in order to take the set. Hades only has to win 1 more, but we've been seeing a pattern emerge, and if it continues, I think we know we're going to Game 9. So let's just see.
We're in an interesting place, right, where still no team has won 2 games in a row, but if that continues, that always favors the team that won first. So Hades is in a really nice position now where they can win this set without ever winning 2 in a row. But, like you said, Slay Kings is in a spot where if they want to win the set, they now must win 2 in a row. And we move on to Tower Control and Inkblot, arguably the final destination, smash, no items, Fox only. Maybe more suited for a game 9 than a game 8. But I think that, this is going to be a great chance for Hades to put a stamp on it and take home a dub.
I mean, tomato, tomato. These teams know how to play on this map. It kind of feels like a game 9 here because, I mean, Slay Kings really has to get, a good win under the belt and have to get a lot of momentum going because even if they were to win this game, they're going back to Clamlets, a mode that they've lost twice on. So they have to get some kind of win in their sails and prepare themselves because if they win this game, it's not the end. They have to still overcome the odds one final time. So let's just get right into it. No significant comp changes. Violet back on the Viper. Aside from that, we all know what the vibes are here as we're going to get into it. Game 8, TC Inkblot. Let's get into it.
Yeah, one game at a time is the mantra for sure. And one of the biggest changes that we've seen that has kept Hades in this set is Trey's swap to 52 to counter the midlines and Slay Kings to slow down their pace a little bit. It's really been working out well. So we see Grape trying to go in for a nice little pinch with the Zuka, finding one, can't quite find a second one, and we resume neutral here. But Pinky, thus far, 8 games in, who do you think has been the MVP of this set?
I mean, it's hard to find one. I think I don't know. I think it's got to be Trey. I really do. Just look at that. Just pulling a rabbit out of a hat, as 52 Gal just somehow manages to do. But all these players have done so amazingly. I mean, Violet has also had their fair share of moments. Kabi has had their fair share of moments here. I mean, it's hard to pick just one MVP. All these players have been playing, at the top of their game here. And at this point, I mean, you just got to let this platoon speak for itself.
Oh, yeah. As we see Slay Kings going to an early attempt at this checkpoint, they do go 2 down, though. They are forced off the tower, crucially, before this check is broken. I think Trey picked up multiple picks there and looking for one more, getting Kabi cleanly. Oh, we see a nice taunt from Trey. I'm almost certain that was a quad from Trey. I don't know that for sure, but I think it may very well have been.
Yeah, I mean, I think we might have a more clear answer of who the MVP might be at this point. But Trey, just a massive thorn on the side, but even in spite of that, the lead stands with Slay Kings for now. But now Cuber's on the tower, 3 go down on the side of Slay Kings, delayed wipe. Umbre's going to be on the respawn, and now Hades has a chance to break that checkpoint and go even further beyond. They're already positioning in the battlements, and that is the one crucial area to hold on to in this map. And 3 go down on the side of Slay Kings. Hades is looking to put a pin in the set at Game 8, make a fool out of all of us, and deny the Game 9. And Slay Kings running out of chances to extend that possibility here. Zuka is not going to be finding any picks. Violet pops the hammer, is going to be trading, is going to find one, tries to find another, there's going to be traded out, but 30 points to go from this knockout here so far. This might just be game, set, and match.
This could very well be, as you see the Zuka coming in, but not able to find anything, as Dan's going to be trying to press in on that tower. You don't want to let it get too much below 25 here. Getting juiced up, still trades on either side. Oh my gosh, this is a very dangerous push attempt here. Like you said, this could be the game, but a nice pinch from Kabi, trying to take this tower, trying to fight the jump. Won't quite be able to find it. Will be going down, and Trey picking another one. 2v1. Oh my gosh, that's going to be a wipe for Hades, and they will send the Slay Kings to the underworld in a 5-3 set victory.
Slay the Kings, control them from beyond, and Hades in a 5-3 down to the wire match until the very end is going to be moving on to semifinals. What an incredible effort by both of these teams, but especially by Hades. So incredibly well played from the start to the very end.
Slay Kings put up an incredible fight, able to take 3 games off of their opponents and drag this thing out to a game 8. But down the road, it will definitely become a narrative of Hades being the stronger team, with strong pushes on Rainmaker Scorch, with only a last-second lead flip against them in Game 4, with strong games on multiple of these maps. Their losses, right, were games where they kind of let it slip away at the end more so than anything else. So a really strong performance by Hades to not let that deter them and to be dominant in the maps in which they knew they could be dominant at. And we are going to see Hades versus Nah I'd Win in Div 1 semifinals next weekend.
Yeah, but, I mean, oh, what a set there, Sofa. That was just beautiful. I mean, especially that Tower Haggle and that Rainmaker Museum, I think, were the 2 standouts of this set. They were honestly phenomenal to watch. I think, in my heart of hearts, if Slay Kings had gotten that lead or was able to defend that lead at 24 instead of 22, this would have been a very different set. I think that game 8 would have been much closer, but I think just that little bit of we were so close to finally getting the leg up on the mode that we lost last time was just enough to barely deflate Slay Kings by just enough for Hades to take it. And I cannot emphasize enough by how small that margin of error is, that how little Slay Kings really relented, because like at this level, any advantage is going to be capitalized on tremendously. And I mean, Hades did exactly that. They noticed that, Slay Kings' morale might have been just a little bit down after such a close game, and they capitalized on it with a just brutal stomping there in game 8.
Yeah, you said it. I mean, the margins are razor thin. The higher, the lower your div number gets, in other words, the closer to X rank that you get, X div, the thinner those margins get, where the slightest positioning mistake, the slightest timing error can really, really cost you, and that stuff can add up. And I mean, those margins were even thinner in a set where we saw a game 8, a 5-3 set. That was no easy victory by Hades in any sense of the word. But at the end of the day, Splatoon, baby, they're going to be the ones moving on. And I got to say, I love Hades as a team. I love the players, the personalities they've got in that group, and I'm pulling for them to go all the way here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, in order to do that, they might just have a date with Cadnam in their near future. Not quite yet, though. Cadnam is going to have to fight their way through quarters and semis. But even still, what a tremendous effort here tonight, and what a set to kick it off. But that's not going to be the end of the stream here tonight. We do have one more set to broadcast. We're going to be sending guys over to Grace and Kyon. But before we go, Sofa, I got to know, where can the good people find you?
Well, my name, once again, is Sofa King. I'm the captain of the Whip Rays. Can be found on Twitter at Sofa King Stream. But, Pinky, you said it. We've got a terrific match coming up. Not only is it Grace and Kyon, but it's Resonance and Morning Glory in Div 4, which is, if you watched Pinky and I last night, we casted Secret Elixir and EHS. These are the other playoff contestants from that same group. So these teams all know each other and are playing together very well. So you're going to kind of see the sequel to what we casted last night, brought to you by two amazing commentators here. But Pinky, where can we find you between now and your next appearance on the mic?
I mean, you guys can normally find me on Twitter or @BrokenPinky_. Just kind of doing whatever, goofing and gaffing all around. But I mean, like you said, Sofa, that is going to be the end of us here. Don't go anywhere. We have another amazing set queued up for you guys. So stay tuned, because as always, you're watching Ludi's Night here on SplatoonTourney. So stay tuned. We'll see you guys in just a bit.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome, everybody, to Ludi tonight. We're about to wrap up our second game here of the doubleheader. My name is Keon. With me, to my right, is Grace. Grace, how are you doing?
I'm so great. This is like the biggest goat I've ever seen in my life right next to me right now, the Keon, so I'm pumped. This is like huge. This is a Div 4 match, going into playoffs, top 16 for all the marbles right now, Keon. Tell me about either of these teams right now.
I will tell you as much as I can. Resonance, formerly known, or the team formerly known as Ominous, is second place here in Group A. They finished with a 4-1 record. Morning Glory finishing first out of Group H. Little fun fact for you, Grace, is that Group H has been shown in its entirety here this weekend because the second place team was EHS, which we saw yesterday. Yeah, yes, way there, Grace. But we got both teams here. If you're familiar with Ominous, you should know Resonance in keyword is in theory. Morning Glory is I believe, to our knowledge, Grace, is a brand new team.
Yes, I mean their Twitter dated back to June 2024. Somebody in the Twitch chat right now is sending a bomb to my location to tell me that this is not true. But to my knowledge, it is true. I mean, for being a newer team though, Keon, these gamers have some really killer results. Like, they're getting Great White consistently. It was SOS 156, 154, and 153. And I did the math. Shocking, I know. They went 25-9 in their group, which is, pretty great. They were first in their group too, so I mean, this is quite the monster coming into this set here.
There too. This is a team that, yes, slightly newish to our knowledge. Maybe they were formed for quite a while, and they just haven't. And they may have spun up that Twitter account there much later. But yeah, they've made a lot of consistent SOS results, as you mentioned, and this should be a surprise there in Div 4. Both teams, by the way, have already just hopped in. We're here at top 16 for context. By the way, Resonance is of course on your alpha side, yellow side. On the other side is gonna be Morning Glory. If we take a look at the weapons, sorry, that took me a second. Tiamat has the I believe the H3 with the crab.
Oh,
okay.
What? Listen,
yeah.
I mean, I'm all for it. I'm all for wacky weapons. As you all may know, I do be playing Junior. I also see a Dynamo and a Tent there on the side of Resonance. Dynamo goes killer on this map though, Keon, so I'm happy to see it. They're already on this bunker. They are going to go 2 down at the start, but Keon, take it away. What are we looking at?
We are basically looking at a double Trizuka and a cooler comp right out of the gate for Resonance. A lot of players are going to be very familiar with that side. This is a cooler-less comp that Morning Glory's been dishing out here, but they do have that trip strikes available if they want to take full advantage of this tower side. But they're going to have to wait a while here. It's going to be 2. Make that 3 down already, and this push is going to get stalled. Delayed wipeout for sure. Nice hold doesn't get. They do not lose that second checkpoint, and it looks like the tower should be resetting here shortly. Here, Grace.
Indeed. That Dynamo, I saw such a great positioning there onto that bunker. We see the members here, though, of Resonance doing a really good tower push. I mean, they're already getting to the second checkpoint. There is a crab. Barely good here with those shots. But they have control here of this bunker area. They have the street area as well. And the members of Morning Glory are getting some picks off, though. So it looks like they're going to try to combat this push pretty well.
Yeah, they're gonna do a good job combating this push, but this jump gonna get punished right out of the gate. There, Asteroid in this case, with the rest of Morning Glory able to take 2 members out. They're gonna get this push restarted by themselves. Lead, by the way, was swapped over the Resonance. Still plenty of time left on the clock. They do have 3 specials. One, I believe, just got popped there, which was the crab tank on top of it. There's the strikes and the bubble if they want to take advantage of it. So far, strikes are kind of just scattered across the wind. They're gonna have to use the bubble to help protect themselves. Yuna's able to get 1, and that will be the wipeout for sure. And this will be the second checkpoint being cleared here, Grace.
So huge. This next checkpoint here is super dangerous. I mean, that Dynamo is going to be super crucial in raining terror down there, trying to get some picks, but the members of Morning Glory know that, picking them off pretty well. The crab's going to pop. They only have that Zuko online to try to defend them, but the Tent is here fighting the roller, allowing the members of Morning Glory to get that checkpoint, and they're pushing it all the way. Not quite though. Day here is going to stop it, but Tia here is going to get onto this tower as well. Oh my lord. Okay. I didn't see a curling bomb kill, Keon. So we're still in the game. We're still going.
We're still there. We're definitely still there. But effectively 3 points remain. They're gonna get 2. They cleared all the checkpoints on top of it too, Grace. It's gonna be very difficult for Resonance because they got that uphill battle to climb there with 2 checkpoints yet to be cleared, and they're also still losing out members there. So Morning Glory with almost effectively a strong enough push, but to maintain. Now, granted, this is tower control. It goes on 1 speed, and the tower has to go to wherever the pathing takes it. So I'd like to see what Morning Glory likes to do there is they pop the crab tank. They also got a Zuka and Trip Strikes once more at the ready there. They're going to pop the Zuka on top of it, trying to fire it above right into Tosi's direction. Tosi able to swim out of it, but the rest of the team is following suit along with them, and Kai's just still lurking large. This is a lot of paint that Morning Glory has here, Grace, and Morning Glory doesn't seem to be letting up.
And they have those tri-strikes ready to go as well there. And the rollers are going to trade out there onto that little sneaky area there. But that's not going to be looking great for Resonance here. They have to get some points on the board. That bubble's going to help them push up, get some area. But that tent together is like 2 big bubbles. But that bubble moves, actually, Keon. So they have a really great comp for holding and maintaining positions. But can they maintain the tower? Only time will tell.
That's going to be the key question here, but Resonance is doing a great job. They have an even better response right out of the gate there with 3 members quickly down. Now, Resonance needs to start pushing up if they want to take full advantage of it, but there is a lurking unit from the side. They're going to have to invest some resources there. Yes, it will be the second checkpoint, but time was stalled enough that the crab tank that allows the crab tank to be in position to try to space them out there. So Pigman is going to be the one with the blaster trying to fire some directs or indirects, if you will, but it's going to be crossed over by 2 members right out of the gate, and this is going to be Tosi, the only one there. Yuna's able to get 1 and follows it up with the second, and this tower should be resetting here shortly. The escape route's there for Resonance, and that's a good hold, but the second checkpoint has been cleared nevertheless, but Resonance needs a lot more than that.
Indeed, indeed. And Morning Glory already has 2 specials online. That bubble, those strikes, once again, it's going to be tough for Resonance to try to get back in here, but we saw them do it before. Maybe they can do it again. I mean, we see the members of Morning Glory here kind of positioning for a push. They're kind of like, well, you guys can just funnel into us. We have a lot of specials to work with, and we see them working with those specials. Quite the Zuka fight, and the members of Resonance aren't quite able to get a pick here, but this overtime might fare well for them here, Keon.
Yeah, this overtime will definitely fare well, and also just in perfect position, kind of just stuck in an area where the strikes are just trying to absolutely secure it, as all the members have gone down. And with Yuna able to take 2 or 3 out right approaching that street, excuse me there, that's going to be Morning Glory taking home the first map here in this top 16 matchup.
Indeed, indeed. And they did really, really well. I mean, they didn't overextend too much if they didn't need to. Their special coordination was on point. They were getting a lot of picks with their specials and dodging the specials of Resonance, which is so, so important. Not a lot of Zuka picks, I feel like I was seeing. People have been traumatized, Keon. They have been traumatized by Zuka, and they know what to do against it now.
You know, the Zuka just winging in the wings. You're just seeing the shot just fire across from distance. Oh no. I feel like the highlights here that we're gonna be seeing throughout. Yuna has just delivered so much value for Morning Glory in critical moments where they were able to extend the lead even further. Also, shout outs to Tiamat, I believe, on that crab tank, at least being able to build the space. Now, main weapon aside, because you don't normally see that every day, the crab tank did what it needed to do there as well. Kai able to also back him up with the trip strikes, kind of just scattering the rest of Resonance across the wind. And Resonance kind of just need to get that push start as soon as they can, but just to no success, as we did see that last push where Yuna was just there with taking out 3 members by themselves. Strikes came in a little bit late, but they ultimately didn't need it in the grand scheme of things. So we saw Morning Glory doing a great job, as you noted, with the special coordination. Resonance just has to shore things up here. Second map coming up here should be Museum Clan Blitz. Going to be slightly operating off of a very different mode altogether. Going to be excited to see how Resonance adjusts.
Definitely. And I mean, Clams is a bigger testament to coordination here. We know Resonance has been together for quite a long time. Oh no, it's just me on the screen. It's just so it makes me nervous. But really, like, they've been together for, I think, about a year at this point. Probably more than a year and a few months. And if these Morning Gloriers, that I'm not going to say that again, the players for Morning Glory here, they might have a bit of a tough time here on Clams, but their coordination was pretty great there on that TC match. They were really cool as a cucumber, honestly. Like, they let the members of Resonance funnel into them. and they positioned their specials with a lot of forethought, and they never panic popped them or anything like that. And with clams, that is so crucial here. Looking at these comps again though, I'm happy to see the Slosher, happy to see the Carbon. Yuna definitely played like a Carbon player that last game. So hungry for kills, all that. And I'm happy to see a Tiamat here still sticking with those nozzle noses.
So not just the nozzle nose, it's actually just the nozzle nose with the bubbler. So just kind of flexing over to a different option that suits well for Clam Blitz. I actually could see the train of thought there, still probably keeping the crab to help build up the space, but decided maybe more value going to be coming out of the bubble there, and I can see why, especially with the Carbon Roller Deco that Yuna's going to wield over to another Roller Flex. The bigger changes, Resonance, by the way, not just no ordinary Slosher, that's just Slosher Deco, by the way, with that Zip Caster, I believe, for that special, which you're going to be using that Zip Caster to try to catch them off guard. So it's actually kind of an unorthodox pick, I'd imagine, in the grand scheme of things. Both teams kind of stuck into this neutral state there with two specials available with a Zuka and a Bubbler at the ready. They're going to be looking for the right time to strike, but there's the bubble there that Tiamat just popped open, but they lose the shot in the process. Push is going to probably be stalled out for a few more seconds. What do you like to see? What do you like out of both teams' comps so far here, Grace?
I mean, I like the aggression that's coming out. I'm happy to see the Dynamo come back once again, getting a really nice pick here. They have the claims to try to extend their lead, but I don't know if they're able to do getting another pick. Day, hello? Maintaining their position here onto the spinner, allowing their teammates to come in and try to extend their push. I mean, their clam economy is looking great here, Kyon. They can probably make another push, like, right now.
Yeah, they definitely can there, but at that stage, just going down real quickly. But someone's gonna have to swim up to see if they can salvage it. I think someone did, but they're realizing, all right, we don't want to try to push up too far yet. We still have a lot of control of this map here, Resonance. That is, they also got some specials at the ready. Look for that Slosher Deco, by the way, flying in with that Zip Caster from that right hand side. See if that's gonna get some value, but it's gonna build just enough space. Yes, they did go down, but it did what it needed to do as they break over the barrier once more. Lots of clams being chucked into the basket as all the jumps come in. They're out of clams. They did what they needed to do in that push just alone, down to 43 points remaining, and still, honestly, Grace, a lot of control of the map still so far. Morning Glory in a rough position where, as I've always noted, they've been playing defense for the past 2 minutes.
Indeed, and that can really take a toll on you here. But with Museum, you really have to play it cool as a cucumber, and we know that they can do it. We saw that in that last game there. One member going down on Resonance is going to let Morning Glory try to take control of mid here. We see the members of Resonance backing up quite a bit, but they're still stationed here up on their plat. This Zuka is really going to help them push back in here, but we see Day here trying to get a pick, jumping out thanks to that lovely cooler, or not so lovely here, but they're going to have to see these flanks coming as well, but they are going to get 2 picks, make that 3 picks. That's going to help them make a push finally here. I mean, about 2 minutes left in this game here, Kyon.
I mean, there's still plenty, honestly, there's still plenty of time. And the way they've built up those clams, they got 2 power clams at the ready, but it really needs to start by still taking out more than they can, which they're doing a good job. Eunice building up a little bit of space. Yes, going down, but allows Suzuka to be in position. Nevertheless, that barrier has been broken. It's going to be a delayed 3 on top of it. There's that other clam. The other power clam should be following up here shortly. Kai's the one that's wielding it there, but look at the paint that's up ahead. It's having to buy themselves a few more seconds, but that snipe could have not been any more well timed, and literally at the nick of time, they throw that power clam in, and that's a lead change. Grace, I can't imagine they were going to get that any more closer, but it's 11 points remaining and still counting down. They're out of clams in the meanwhile. There's nothing more to add. But Grace, it's a lead change that literally hinged on 1 second left on that push.
If I am on the side of Morning Glory right now, I am praying to the lords that are Nintendo for fixing Clam Blitz and the disconnect there with those clams. If you know, you know. But the members of Morning Glory can do what they do best. Stay cool as a cucumber and defend. We saw them do it really great that last game. They can do it again right here and as they were before. But the members of Resonance are grouped up together. They were with that bubble. Toasty here maybe wants to make it a little bit of a flank, but they're the one who has the ball now. The members of Morning Glory, they're going to pop that bubble, not letting the members of Resonance come back on here, but they are going to lose their charger, which is so much pressure over the really aggressive comp here coming out from Resonance. They're going to go 2 down, make that 3 down here, Kyon, and it looks like they're going to score.
Yeah, it looks like they're gonna be scoring here. Negative, just taking that spinner rock there up on that bridge, and now that's gonna be down to 40 points remaining. More importantly, still keeping that free clam back. So they're not going to burn that one quite yet, but that's going to cut the deficit by a bit. Sure that you lose 2, but you still have a clan that is readily available back in your base if you're able to make another push happen, but it has to start once more. If we look at the specials right away, specials that are being built up, you still have to look out for the trip strikes and a looming Zuka from the side of Morning Glory there, if Yuna's able to get the paint in. But Toasty's kind of just been sharking on the side there and not able to find picks. Now, this is starting to become more critical here. Morning Glory playing heavy defense around this basket. They're not trying to move up just yet, hoping to see if a Zuka lands as we are into overtime. Zuka and Bubble at the ready, if they're able to make that one count. But Yuna does go down. So does the Charger. Kai goes down on top of it. That trip strike bought themselves just enough time. There's that flick, and that power clamp jumps down to a certain level, but they are able to break through the barrier. They're still throwing clamps in. That's 2 members, just the only ones alive. And there's a nice little snipe there from Kai, and the rest of Morning Glory holds defense very well. Well, Wipeout is the cherry on top, and Resonance will take this one, or excuse me, Morning Glory will be the one to take this one home. It's going to be 2-0 here in the set.
That was some killer defense there from Morning Glory. I mean, like I said before, cool as a cucumber. They very collectively put out their specials. They were like, listen, we can get them off our plat. We can stop them from getting in more clams. It's okay if they score, but you just kind of have to flush them out from there and paint them out. And we're going to get this lovely replay here with Kai getting that clam in. Listen, if that patch hadn't come out, like, I think that wouldn't have made it in though, Kyon. So that was so clutch.
Yeah, and Tiamat's power clam toss at the end was just adding more to the score, which was actually going to matter in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, the few more clams did come in, so the most it would have had was a tie. Yeah, praise be to Nintendo for that patch. Honestly, for that one, Grace, because we could have been talking about a very different story there. Because literally, as I've noted earlier, 1 second being the difference. And we saw Morning Glory kind of stuck into this defensive position they had to do for about 2 minutes. But I think what we saw earlier was them winning out a lot of the fights, which what Morning Glory did really well, by the way, was get control of the map back instantly. The rest of Resonance had to try and recover from start to finish after they gave up pretty much a lot of space that they need. So Morning Glory, 2 minutes on defense, no problem. Just 1 push was all you need.
Yes, and I mean, that lovely replay that we just saw, I want to give a huge shout out to their shot player. They, going on to that little sneaky thing on the spinner where like that wall disconnects you from the Charger who's looming, trying to get a pick on you. So smart. And I mean, it just kind of goes to show like the testament of how experienced these players are, especially like if they're gonna die for clams, they're not actually gonna die because they're just better.
I mean, that's a great way to put it. Now, we have 2 unorthodox Rainmaker maps coming up here, Grace. That's going to be the word I'm going to use here tonight, because you don't normally see these Rainmaker maps at all in tournaments alone. I'm pretty sure you, from your experience with SOS, you probably have not had to touch Hagglefish Rainmaker at all for a map list. So both teams are going to have to deal with this one. Ultimately, for Resonance, you don't feel let up so far. You actually had a great push out of the gate, but just couldn't get the job done. So the only so what do they dish out here? Morning Glory, by the way, flex. Kai's gonna be flexing over to the scope, to that Charger, excuse me, with the ink back, which is what especially I don't normally see for this Rainmaker map in general, but I don't mind the flex over. Rest of the team, I think, rest of both teams, excuse me, are gonna keep their weapons.
Yuna here's already sharking up. I'm getting goosebumps right now. Oh, they trade out again with that roller. I think they're either in love or they hate each other, Kyon. Only time indeed will tell here. But their blaster as well is going to go down here. And it's just, I mean, to quote one Skepadillions, it is scrappy here in mid. There is paint everywhere. There is so much fighting. Everyone's trading out. They're sharking. Asteroid, I see you. Are they going to be able to get a pick here? Maybe, possibly not. But both of these teams here kind of got to strap down. And once they get those picks, they have to move with them. They can't just keep fighting in mid. They've got to push up and get some kind of a push going.
Yeah, but both teams kind of just stuck into this neutral state there. Even with the 2 down, make that a delayed 3. But both teams are kind of just getting beat up a little bit here. As this is gonna be a decent amount of control. Kai does finally go down. Actually, in the grand scheme of things, checkpoint already cleared for Resonance. Now they're able to pop this one. They have a chance to make the jump to cut this deficit there by a bit, or excuse me, the lead here down to 30 points remaining. But they're not able to make the jump whatsoever. Nice little hold there from Morning Glory in the grand scheme of things. Rest of Resonance has to back up, but more importantly, the checkpoint's been cleared here, Grace, as the Saucer Deco does go down in the grand scheme of things.
Yuna here trying to get another pick though, not quite able to clutch it up there onto Day. And Resonance here has a very firm hold of mid, which is something you'll always want after a push on the Rainmaker. I mean, yes, it would help to maybe keep the push going, but having mid is even more important. As I say that though, Kyon, Morning Glory is gonna move their way right into mid, and the members of Resonance are gonna lose their Slosher player. And Morning Glory is going to try to make a push out of this. Their bubble going to help them keep mid. That Vac as well going to maintain that push going right into their checkpoint there. And hopefully they're going to be able to make this jump, the one that Resonance couldn't quite get there.
Yeah, but I think Morning Glory could be running into the exact same problem that Resonance ran into earlier. That's a nice little recovery there too. We kind of saw the special coordination excuse me, but somehow they snuck through. How did Asteroid snuck through and able to take this one to 23 points remaining? That's a little unfortunate there from Resonance. The defense kind of just broke open a little bit more. Now, there's no reason to panic, obviously, in the grand scheme of things. Only halfway through the game. But you have to wonder from Resonance's side, what allowed that jump to happen?
I mean, sometimes you get too comfortable. And sometimes you're not really ready for a push at all. But it looks like, hello? Wait! Yo, they wiped! What happened? I didn't even look. Oh my god!
Okay. I think we enrolled
Replay that. Oh my god. What? Yeah, fist bump, sure. What? What?
Grace, I'll let you breathe here for a few moments.
Oh.
Because it caught me off guard too, by the way. So we were so hung up by this jump here, for the record. Asteroid actually just snuck through. That's what we knew somehow, is they snuck through. What happened here? So Toasty goes in with the Zipcaster, yes, but they spent 2 players into that alone. Okay, there was just a lot of things, and then the rest of the group just had control. Okay, they turned it from 0 to 100. I noted before that Grace, there's no reason to panic. They may have heard that a little too well. Panic was not in the menu. They took that one home. It just happened so fast. I don't think any of us were expecting it.
I feel like I've aged 9 years. Like, I feel like a grandmother. Like what happened in that push, Kyon? What? I blinked and they just KO'd it. But looking at it there, looking at that lovely replay, the crossfire was just immaculate. Like, they popped that back. They were like, okay, I'm the last standing person. I'm gonna try to stop them. And then they're like, well, how about we shoot you from 2 directions? You can't ink back both of those. Ooh, and then they're just gone. But you love to see it. You love to see the quickness with Resonance there. They were ready to push. They were like, nah, my teammates got it. I'm just gonna start swimming into their spawn with the Rainmaker, and it worked.
I mean, honestly, because it happened so fast, because Resonance was ultimately able to get a lot of control of that spawn there that Morning Glory was having to recover from. I also know that they invested 2 players in, which kind of just opened the front doors basically for Resonance to raid through. So it happened so fast. It kind of threw you and I both off guard. I think we were both reacting on the cameras like, what the heck happened here? And I'm sure both teams are going to realize that, okay, what the heck happened? We got to rebound in Umami zones. Resonance is going to try to run with that one with pride there, as they're going to go back to tent, but there's a double roller. And there's the explode from Kai. That's another unique weapon I'm seeing from Kai there. Resonance is going to be dishing out a bubble. They're going to be dishing out that double roller there, but Toasty, this is no ordinary tent with the Zuka. This is a tent with the ink fact. That's a very interesting choice.
Listen, Kyon, when I looked at these teams before this set here, looked at their sendout bios, and I saw that Pigment played roller, but they also had a Dynamo player there, Day, on the side of Resonance, I was like, oh, I guess when it's like they sub out, they play those. No, Kyon, they're just better. Just better so much that they've already got 2 picks going into this. Yuna here is trying to clean up the roller fights. It's able to get one up there onto Yuna. And they're managing to paint the zone with the little paint that they kind of have in this comp here. I think that's their biggest weakness, but at least they can kill.
And usually Grace, the train of thought that I always note here is we're going to be seeing a lead swap with 3 down and a possible lockout here for Resonances. Even with the lack of paint, how do you try to get control of both zones with that? Well, let's just win out our fights. And that's I believe that's what we saw there from Resonance there from Pigment able to get a few that allowed them to just build up the space and allow Resonance to move forward. But well, they're gonna have to deal with the Zuka that just got fired from Asteroid and just dealt with that. But Pigment's like, nah, we're gonna be. I'll help you guys out. And Pigment's kind of just is on a mission right now, but they're being thwarted by the bubble of all things. Control is gonna be going back to Resonance here. There, as we're about to see flying Zukas across the board. It's been a brawl fight to say the least here, Grace. But by the end of it, Resonance will still have control of both zones.
Dang, that Inkvac's gonna come out as well. Trading out there, so huge. Even if it's just a trade, getting them away from the zone to where they can actually paint it, you know, is so huge. They've been doing a really great job here on the side of Resonance, that is, of zoning out Kai here on this Explo that we didn't give any love to here, Kyon. That is an amazing pick here. It'd be really good normally, but the members of Resonance here are just combating them so well. They're already going to go 2 down here onto this retake, and while they aren't able to quite cap the zone, Uni here getting some really nice picks, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to paint it in time. They are Carbon after all. They can neutralize it and wait for some teammates to come in though, Kyon.
Yeah, I was gonna say wait for the teammates to come in and try to rebound, but they're 3 down. All you gotta do is paint over the zone. They're gonna have to do with the shot that's trying to paint over it as much as they can, but to no success. And that will be Resonance. They were down 2-0. Let's win the next 2 and just call it a day, shall we? We are 2-2 tied up here after map 4. And Grace, one of the interesting things with the double roller comp, Pigment was on a mission, I've noticed. Pigment, I think, got a lot of value out of the picks they had in that last push, which I was seeing my eyes on. Pigment took out 3 members, just unsuspecting members from Morning Glory, and Resonance just kind of ran away with it afterwards.
Definitely, and they were just doing such an amazing job of keeping the picks coming and keeping them staggered. That was the name of the game there. They were like, yes, they can outpaint us, but only if they have people alive to be painting.
Yes. And that's kind of what I was wondering about too, is with the lack of paint. Usually whenever as I know before, when I see this, okay, we got to get picks by ourselves because otherwise we're gonna lose zones really quickly. And it's gonna be hard for us to come back. Well, Pigment understood the assignment there, and I know we've been highlighting Pigment a lot here in this double roller comp. Look at Pigment's direct area, by the way. Yeah, 2 members just kind of flying a little too close. Yuna was at least able to escape out of it, but by then they've already lost too many members there. Pigment in this double roller comp just did so much work there, Grace.
It really did, and the work that I thought it was going to be doing was not painting and dying. I'm gonna be so real. I was thinking like they're gonna get zoned out. It's gonna be tough. Poor Day's gonna have a million bombs thrown out. Oh, Grace
Nope.
jump scare. But really, like, I was concerned. I was worried, if you will. But I mean, what can I say? Maybe it was the Explo that kind of threw them off. They were expecting a faster comp, and they were like, "Oh well, it's gonna be tough here." But since the Explo was so far back, like, yes, they can zone you out. Yes, they can outpaint you, especially on the zones. But if you can't let them get to a position, they're not going to be a big help for their teammates.
And that's kind of what I was wondering there from Morning Glory is the rest of the team just not being able to be in position to contest both zones. You know, that Expo just not being able to move up with them, and when you're kind of the backline that helps assist with the painting, it's kind of you kind of need to work together in conjunction and kind of the train of thought there that I had, but that's not what we saw there from Morning Glory. Now, you've probably been in this situation before. 2-0, you had a 2-0 lead. Now you lost the last 2. Resonance I can imagine with that KO could be feeling a lot of momentum. So the time to rebound is going to be an undertow tower control. They won that first map right away from Manta Maria tower control. So Morning Glory, if the facts may hold true, they could be able to run this one back. It's going to ultimately depend on how they're going to play this map all around. Sasha Deco still being dished out there from Toasty on that side. Tiamat's going to go back to the Nozzle with the Crab. It's a very good choice, but the way this map is kind of shaped, going to be a very awkward map overall to see how the Crab plays out as we get to see Toasty down right out of the gate. And but all that being said, both teams kind of just gain a good hold of mid until Morning Glory tells me otherwise. They're going to be approaching through the first checkpoint.
Indeed, popping that Zuka as well. They're going to be all coolered up, but they're still 2 down on the side of Resonance right here. And the members of Morning Glory are taking a lot of advantageous fights, rather. They're playing together, and they're making sure that their tower player is protected. As I say that, though, that's so crazy. Are going to go down Yuna here, fighting again with the Dynamo. These are the best These are the best fights whenever I see like two rollers. It's always just the best here. But Negative here is going to get an amazing Zuka shot. Really going to help their teammates be able to push up here, trying to get this tower back into their control. This Zipcaster as well, coordinating their aggressive specials, but they're going to get taken out here, Keon. I mean, it's going to be tough to get back in.
Yeah, kind of got stalled around that second checkpoint there. I know you love the roller duels there. I'm more fascinated to see how both teams kind of approach with the special coordination. We know there too that the special coordination is going to be the key that Morning Glory had in the grand scheme of things, as we do get to see a beautiful snipe there onto the tower. In fact, I believe a delayed 3 down there from Residence is going to have to force them back a bit. I'm actually going to be curious to see how Morning Glory works with those specials in conjunction with the Crab. They got the trip strikes available, but they're still running in. So they're still running that comp that doesn't have a cooler available, whereas Resonance does with that Dynamo. So I'm going to be wondering to see how they combat that as specials, by the way, popped right out of the gate for Resonance. The value is going to be just a 1-for-1 trade. Make that a 2-for-1 trade, and the rest of the members are following suit. Pigment is going down. Asteroid takes him out. It's a wipeout for sure, and Morning Glory maybe will extend this lead further, especially with 3 specials that just got popped. Correction, make that 2.
That is tough. Taking out Kai there really solidified that wipeout, especially. I mean, that Zipcaster Toasty, such a smart move going right for their backline. And they really, really know who to focus on your Asteroid, completely being like, Grace, I want you to stop talking about the other team. I want you to talk about me. And like, oh my gosh, I will, because that was insane. We saw them make amazing aggressive plays there. They were the one who KO'd that Rainmaker on Haggle, so I'm giving you the love right here, Asteroid, because, again, your Zuka plays have been impeccable, and your plays in general, impeccable.
I mean, Asteroid's play has been phenomenal, the main weapon, though. I'm gonna note that Zuka as being a silly Zuka splat in a 5 out of 10 category, I'll say, for that one. It was a little silly because one of the shots kind of just went through there. Yeah, I know there, Grace. Very hot take coming from yours truly on the mic. As we, by the way, are approaching 2 minutes left on the clock, kind of stuck into this neutral position. Morning Glory will be happy to take care of this. Really, though, the lead is still not quite safe. There's still a lot of fighting that is happening here from Morning Glory's end, but they are slowly coming out on top. Both teams not really having any control whatsoever here, and it's still looking to be Resident still trying to make something happen here. Maybe the first checkpoint could be cleared. They still have to look for more members and not to get caught off guard, but they got a lot of control. But there is a looming Asteroid on the side. They are able to break through, but everybody's gone from the tower, so not quite the second checkpoint whatsoever there. 2 for 2 on both sides. Tower back to mid once more.
Asteroid, again, I'm gonna give you flowers, man. Like, they were doing an amazing job there of splitting up their opponents there on the... Oh my god. And they're getting some crazy Zuka shots again, Keon. They just want me to never shut up about them. That's so crazy. And I mean, for good reason. Morning Glory here is still in the lead. And I mean, there's just a minute left here, Keon, but it is still anyone's game, only getting up to that second checkpoint. All it takes is a wipe, a really great push here to make something happen.
That's really what I need to see here, because the lead not remotely safe in the slightest, because the highest point remaining is just that second checkpoint at 58 points remaining. If Resonance been getting my colors flipped here this entire night, if Resonance is able to win out a fight here and able to approach the second checkpoint, that could be a lead swap there. But Morning Glory's having other ideas, because of course, Asteroid, we called out your name earlier. Why not another Zuka pick to add to your list there by the end of it? But strikes are available from Morning Glory. They could reserve that for the GG strikes, but there is a Zuka at the ready, so if Kai does go down, they're not going to have the GG strikes readily available. But Resonance is going to be 1 down, Pigment down on the Blaster in the grand scheme of things, as we do see that trip strike still available. All specials have been burned. Resonance is already 3 down anyway, so there's no reason for the strikes, and it will be Morning Glory going to be up 3-2 here in the set, and it's a nice little rebound for Morning Glory.
I'm giving them many snaps right now. You probably can't hear them, but that was really nicely played. Every time Resonance tried to make a push there, they did a really amazing job of splitting them up. And they weren't letting all of their attention be on the tower, supporting the tower, pushing the tower. They had to turn around and fight Asteroid. They had to turn around and face Kai. They were getting sniped by Kai. It was just very expertly done. Mwah.
Grace, I'm gonna note this for just 2 seconds, and I'll let you have the floor again. This feels like this is the most neutral game that we had. Yeah, this was definitely Silly Zuka 5 out of 10 material there, but it's still value. I mean, let's be real, it's still value nevertheless. But I feel like compared to some of the other maps we saw, this was easily one of the more neutral games I felt like we saw, because usually I've seen that second checkpoint get cleared pretty nicely. Both teams kind of got stalled there. I feel like it's a testament to how close really both teams have been playing.
Yes, and I mean, I want to give an Asteroid. They're either gonna love me or hate me. I want to give some love to them again there. That replay we just saw earlier, but again, doing an amazing job splitting up the members of Resonance. We saw Toasty go in there with those what's it called? They took out Kai, but I mean, again, like great Zipcasters coming out, great from Asteroid, always splitting up their opponents, and that's really a testament to how Resonance was always having trouble pushing there.
Yeah, it's kind of, it was a little difficult for Resonance to move forward. Opting for the blaster there from Pigman. The story for Pigman was a little different between Game 4 and 5. Granted, Pigman was playing the roller from what we saw from Game 4, but we're approaching Game 5, switching over to the blaster, and kind of felt like they've been neutralized for a good chunk of it. So now you're approaching Game 6. Resonance does not win the target control map, and Grace, I like to call this the mirror situation here, because Morning Glory takes home the target control maps. And if we were to follow the small sample size of what this set has delivered, we saw that Morning Glory has won the Clams map. Resonance is gonna be looking for that response. I'm gonna be curious to see what Resonance needs to do here, as we're gonna be queuing up into this Clam Blitz map in Barnacle and Dime.
Barnacle and Dime. I do not like her very much, Kyon, but hopefully these two teams do like them. No way. Kyon, this is a moment in history again. They're going with the double roller comp once again. Again, negative on that shot, holding this together right now, painting for dear life, trying to get those Zukas. Toasty again on that tent. I think this is the same kind of comp that we were seeing before. This is so interesting. We're already going to see Kai trying to get a pick. That crab, what? That was a really early crab. that was really quick, actually.
Well, catching Grace off guard. It's like, wait, I did not remember this Nalzanos being able to get crab that quickly within like 20 seconds. Really? And I'm sure we're all going to be wondering, well, how on earth did they farm that so far? So, interesting thing here for Resonance, Grace, that I'm noticed right out of the gate, it's not just a double roller comp that got them the win there, is that Zuka, I believe, actually took 2 members out. Kai went down on this one. Then now the floodgates might be opening here. Unless, it will be for sure open, and it is going to be the wipeout there. I'm going to have to hold on to my train of thought. This push is still going strong. 62 points remain is going to be the score. No clans readily available. Tiamat's going to be the one lurking large with the crab tank. They are able to take the shot. Should surely be the end of the push unless a few clams more are being tossed in. And yes, it's 3 down, but they still able to take this home to 47 points remain. That's a very strong push right out of the gate there. Toasty is just trying to play a little silly there. By the end of it, it's 3 down. Push is over. Morning Glory recovers there. That push all the way down to 47 points remaining here, Grace.
Indeed. We see Day here trying to get some more clams as well, but the members of Morning Glory are pushing up hard. Day here is going to have to go to a defensive position, try to hold them off, but their roller there on the side of Morning Glory is going to get taken out. Day here fighting they keep flashing to them, fighting for their life here with their strikes. But they are going to be able to take out the push from Morning Glory. I mean, they did push up quite a bit, but the members of Resonance were able to hold their ground. Cool as the cucumber. They're taking notes from Morning Glory here, Kyon. And we're back to kind of a neutral state, but Resonance is looking to make a push.
So while we're kind of stuck in this neutral state here, because I don't see the power clam. Okay, we definitely won't be seeing a power clam anytime soon. Nope. We're gonna slow down here for a bit. But this is a good time for me to ask, because I'm gonna be curious to see what your thoughts here. So we saw the double roller comp from Resonance. What Morning Glory dished out when this double roller comp came out was an expo that Kai has. Kai switches over to they switched over to Firefin. What I was gonna originally ask was, how does this affect things? And Resonance is just gonna tell me no, doesn't affect us too much. They're gonna be the one to break open this barrier here. I gotta love my ill-timed questions in the grand scheme of things. 47 points remaining is still ticking down. 38 points and still more. Negative's gonna throw in a few clams there, but the rest of Morning Glory, minus the Nozinos, has just respawned. That's so much pain in the side of Resonance. It's 2 down on both sides, but no clams are available, at least until a few more comes in. And then switching over to the other side, that push is still alive. They were able to throw in 3 clams right then and there, but the push is done. And that's going to be 11 points remaining. I still entertain the thought of if the Firefin scope matters from Kai, and Resonance is like, nah, not really.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, Team Matt's like, how about this crab though, Kyon? What do you think about my crabs? And to that I say they're pretty splendid, if I do say so myself. But Resonance here trying to maintain control of mid, try to get that paint back. That bubble's gonna help them, that cooler's gonna help them as well. Oh, asteroid! That is a brutal Zuka! Getting them right when they were trying to get all coolered up. That is so brutal, but very well timed there. Resonance is gonna have to back themselves up if they want to try to make another push, which they don't have to here, Kyon. I mean, they're in the lead.
And that's a very good point because yeah, they have a pretty nice lead, but I've seen a lot of games get flipped over on a dime. There, so you don't want to try to relax a little too much. But what Morning Glory only has right now is just one mere power clam. As Strip Checks and Zukas are going to be at the ready, they're going to pop the Zuka right out of the gate. Minute and 5 left to go in Grace, and Morning Glory still kind of looming large here with this push, but they are slowing down for just a bit.
Indeed. Oh my gosh, negative. That was crazy. Being able to take out Kai there rips a hole right into Morning Glory's defense again. And like we've been saying, they don't need to push, but they still keep wanting to. Negative opting to throw that power claim away. But their teammates there are there to back them up. Morning Glory is having a lot of trouble breaking out into here. I mean, but with that 10 going down, that is going to really, really help them out here. They're onto their plat. Pigment is backing up, and they're trying to ground themselves to prepare for a push from Morning Glory. Are they able to get it into this basket here? But it looks like they're getting a bit disconnected, and the Zuka's going to pop out as well, and they do crack the basket here, Kyon. But is this push sustainable?
That's going to be the ultimate question. They still will have overtime in the grand scheme of things, but they can't also... But the problem is how long will this push stay alive? They're going to keep this alive for a little bit longer. 2 minutes have gone down, but that splat is well-timed. But they are able to make this home to 21 points remaining, but the rest of the team is wiped out. It doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things because Resonance's defense could have not been anywhere clutch when it needed it, and Resonance is back up. Is going to be tying the set once more, a 3-3 tie coming in by the end of Game 6.
My God, Kyon. Listen, this is just a testament that you can't put all your eggs into one basket, and not the basket, not the clam basket. I mean, with that power clam jump, it can be really, really tough because you put a target right on where the lead can go. You see that person jumping in, and you just see red, which clearly the members of Resonance did.
So I got a little worried there because what I was going to say next is they may still have overtime, but unless my timer math is a little wrong here, yes, I'm going to say timer math, Grace, bear with me on this one. Unless my timer math is wrong, the basket may have gone up at an inopportune time. So I got the sense that Morning Glory probably wanted to get that pity clam in. That's my read on the situation here because they probably realized this is our only push to do so. They probably realized that, okay, 2 down, we'll call it a day. And the Resonance is like, nah.
Yeah, I think that bubble especially, that really put a hole right in through their push, their offense there. They were really trying to get that jump in. They were like, all right, well, there's 2 down. Kai was like, all right, there's 2 down, let's just go. But they popped that bubble right next to them. So as soon as they jumped in, the roller was just there and waiting, ready for them to jump in. And that really slowed them down. That staggered their push. That's why you always have to get little clams as well. Can't just be that one big power clam.
Yeah, and I'm gonna note this for the producer. By the way, shout out to our producer Jordan. It is time for a little bit of news. We're down in the best. We like to call the theoretical best of 3 situation now for both teams because we are tied up 3-3 here by the end of it, and the next 3 maps starting to matter here for both of these teams. That's your news for today. And the other news coming out of this set is the second unorthodox Rainmaker map coming out of the board because we saw Hagglefish Market Rainmaker. Grace, welcome to Robo Ramen Rainmaker, a Rainmaker map that doesn't normally see the light of day in other places that we usually see.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you something here, Kyon. As
Go
an
for it.
SOS head, you know, I make the SOSs on Sendao. So if you hate SOS, you hate me, and I'm gonna start bawling my eyes out. But I did have to add Robo Ramen because, as you know, we do Ludi maps for SOS weeks so that people get good practice in. Even though we're in playoffs, we're still doing them right now. And when I had to add this to the map list, Kyon, I sat there and I said to Justin, our lovely streamer who was in voice chat with me, I said, Justin, something's not right here. Something's not right with this. Ramen? Rainmaker. And he said,
Yeah.
well, I don't know. I'm just a streamer. I don't know. So, I mean, I'm hoping these teams feel better about this map than I do, because it is quite nasty. But looking at the comp here on Resonance, Pigment is like, how about I go for less paint? Because I'm just so cool. Which they are very cool. And they're going to go Blaster here, which hopefully works out for them here. Toasty still staying on this tent. The comp from Morning Glory is still pretty much consistent, and they're already going to pop a Zuka here from Asteroid, and they're going to trade out here one member per team. So, I mean, they're coming in hot.
I'm glad that the SOS head was also doing the same thing, because I also help out with the Dash here for our lovely SplatoonTourney stream. It's like, wait, did I typo something? Is it really Ramen Rainmaker? I had to do all the cross checks in the world. I'm like, yeah, it's Ramen Rainmaker. It's like, okay then, understood. Speaking of which, the game is already happening here. 82 points remaining is the score from Resonance. By the way, keep an eye on Toasty with this ink back there, as the lead's going to be changing hands. Morning Glory gets through the checkpoint. You're gonna need to know how the ink back usage happens here, but there may not have a chance to do so, because it's 3 members down right out of the gate as they are firing all the Rainmaker shots, approaching the pedestal, the goal line, if you will. It is going to be down to 6 points remaining and a little bit of change, I guess, as the rest of Resonance just going to have to recover just a bit here. There in the grand scheme of things. Cooler is dished out. Everybody's back up. Tiamat's still there with the crab, and it's just still trying to play a little deterrent there. In fact, taking out Toasty, and this Rainmaker down to 3 points remaining, and Morning Glory still not letting up.
They want to end this set, Kyon. They're sick and tired. They were like, get Grace off the mic. I don't want to listen to this anymore. I'm sick and tired of it. And I'm here for it, but also I'm a little sad. But they're maintaining their hold here of mid. I see Kai there always holding down the fort. And Yuna here trying to get some kind of a pick onto Pigment. Again, Pigment crying out for help there with the this way, but no one came to hear their plea. But I was just about to say that the Rainmaker itself is an amazing weapon, but they're going to get taken out pretty quickly. And I mean, Resonance is going to get that repop, but it looks like Morning Glory is the one here with mid control.
A lot of focus, by the way, onto Morning Glory right out of the gate with Tiamat on that crab. Still becoming a pest for the most part, with a lot of control around the map that they're going to have to work around through. Azuka's going to find no value flying through the side there. I think they're going to allow this Rainmaker to reset. They got a little questionable there with somebody possibly picking it up. That's it, but that is where it stands. Toasty, by the way, popping an early ink back, likely to build up the space that they need. Jumps are going to be coming in from both sides, and there's Rainmaker is going to get picked up there on the side. Tiamat realizes that as well, having to shift over to the right. Strikes, trying to prevent the slam home. Yuna's able to take him out, but not before going down to the Rainmaker shot. But Yuna did what they needed to do, and this Rainmaker is still stalled. Resident still not able to get a better push yet.
And a really expert thing that I saw there during their push, although it didn't quite go their way there, they were doing a really great job of getting Kai out of those really great positions there for that lovely sniper that we've been seeing them do, that charger. Hello? Asteroid, what? I'm sorry for not talking about you for 1 minute. They're going to get a triple with Zuka here. And Kai's going to pick up this Rainmaker. They're going to be pushing up into their spawn. And I mean, Tiamat is ready. They're like, when can I pop this crab? I'm going to pop this crab onto them, and I'm going to kill all of them.
Yeah, they popped the crab, but the Rainmaker's kind of just stuck there now. So this crab is just gonna be there to loom a little large. Now, Resonance still has time. Theoretically, the game not quite over yet, but still an uphill battle. They're gonna have to deal with everybody else lurking large here from Morning Glory, as we're out to be 1 minute and 25 left to go. 2 members, by the way, going down. This push is gonna go nowhere here soon. Are gonna be stalled out here for just a few seconds. So. Ultimately, Grace, I'm curious to see what your thoughts are for Resonance. Gonna have to deal with Morning Glory there, and how you can get an even better push as Toasty's gonna go down.
I mean, if you're Resonance, you have to be thinking about, okay, we only have a minute left. What's going wrong? What is it about them that's zoning us out? Is it the paint? Is it their special usage? What isn't going well here? What can we be doing better? And if you aren't reassessing, if you're just continuing to call out, it's not going to look super great here. And it looks like they are going to go out, or they're going to go down 2 now, Kyon. And Yuna here is going to pick up this Rainmaker. Again, the Rainmaker is such an amazing tool for getting paint up. Negative is going to get a huge pick on them, though. I mean, that's kind of a weird spot for it to be in, but I guess they're going to have to push this right pedestal here. Pigment getting an amazing double here, taking out Kai, notably the backbone kind of here, their backline of this team, and they're finally going to crack this checkpoint, but Kyon, there's only 20 seconds left.
This is really old. You only have one push at this point. You have to.
Yeah.
You gotta get everybody out of there if you're there that side. But you gotta look out for Yuna. Yuna just drops down, and that might be the end of this push and the end of this game here soon. All they gotta do is pick up this Rainmaker. There's still a member lurking large, trying to retreat it through. Zuko's gonna be there at the ready, but that block is gonna prevent that shot from landing. My goodness grace, that back and forth got a little scary there by the grand scheme of things, but at the end of the day, Morning Glory is going to be a 4-3 match point for Morning Glory coming up.
Indeed, indeed. Listen, they were looking really, really great there. I mean, their defense was great. That beginning push that just would not end, super, super great. And once they had that, they knew that they didn't really have to do anything else, which, you know, oh, this is the asteroid triple again. Listen, I can't stop talking about them. It's crazy. We can see Negative there watching the blood of their comrade. Oh, we're gonna see it again, folks. We're seeing it again. We're seeing it again. Negative there throwing a bomb and being like, guys, what happened? Guys, what happened to the rest of you?
When the explosive opening push happened the way it did, it's already hard enough to come back, especially with how this map gets shaped. So Resonance needed to find any desperation maneuver that they can, and things were actually honestly looking really good there. The Zuko pick, by the way, onto Yuna. I saw what Yuna was trying to do there, by the way, Grace, was I believe Yuna was trying to aim for a stall around where they were. That's the only way that made sense. So they're like, all right, we gotta pop Zuka for Yuna to go down so that we have a chance at the Rainmaker. But the next step apparently was Pigman also gain 2 directs landing to allow them to have at least a chance. Obviously, at the end of the day, Resonance not able to win the map, but they had a lot of good. That was a chance that could have easily given Resonance a chance to just crawl back and see a great comeback, but that's not what we saw. So yeah, Morning Glory up 4-3. It's match point. And now it's time for zones. They flipped the script a little bit with 7-6 their trained maps here, but if the small sample size holds, Resonance has had a good control of the zones map so far, so it's gonna be up to Morning Glory to see how they crack this one. But it's at least on a map combination we see a lot.
Indeed, indeed, and by a lot you must mean all the time. I
Oh,
know
yeah.
Mako Mar like the back of my hand. I've shopped there. I've cried there. I've been on the stacks, the breakfast or something. I don't know. But I've been everywhere. The freezer. That's probably one of the callouts. Maybe. I think so.
Maybe.
It is a grocery store. Probably what I'm thinking of. I don't know. Somebody's gonna bust down my door pretty soon and be like, Grace, that's none of those were right. It's okay. When I call out, I just say, left, and then I'm dead. And then my teammates are like, I don't know where you were. Anyways, but Mako Mart. I foresee that we will see that lovely slosher come back out from Toasty. But we'll see how it goes. I'm foreseeing, hopefully, some little comp switch ups because Makomar is a very interesting one. And Toasty hates me.
Oh.
They hate my guts so bad. That's really embarrassing. They're sticking with that tent. It's going, what? Huh? The end pairing ghoulies from Negative.
That's exactly why I went there for a hot second. That's a unique change, by the way, from Negative. Now, this problem still stands for Resonance, Grace, that we highlighted from the zones map from earlier. They don't have much in the way of painting, and picks are going to be the name of the game. But unfortunately, they're going too down. They're going to have to give up this control of the zone very fast. Gonna have to wait for the respawns. They do take out a roller though, but Tiamat's gonna still be looming large, but still finding some value with some of the lob shots from that crab there. So again, where are the picks going to be coming from? Asteroid's going to be the one lurking large. They are able to at least be able to flip zones there, but they lose probably their best painter here in the M-Parries in the grand scheme of things, but they're able to take 2 members out. This could be the zone split. No, not quite yet. Morning Glory is able to wrestle this one back. And Grace, this mayhem ends with Morning Glory getting out of the penalty points.
Indeed, indeed. Yuna's gonna slip. What? Whoa. Slip? Hello? Anyways,
Hello?
they're gonna slip there into that bubble, getting a nice pick. But the members of Morning Glory are like, gamers, this is match point. This is all the marbles right now. Tiamat's like, oh yeah, Grace, you liked my crabs before? Boom, look at this one. I'm gonna get a million picks. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But Day here, they are bobbing and weaving for dear life. That wall, really nice there, trying to help Tiamat get out of that situation. Negative trying to get a pick, but 2 of their friends are gonna go down in the process here, Kyon. Oh my golly goodness, they are trading out so much.
Yeah, but these trades are gonna start favoring Morning Glory, and Resonance is losing a lot of momentum. In fact, it's actually gonna be 2 down. Bubble's been popped out right out of the gate. Toasty and the other members are only alive. It's 3 down, and it's just the lone M-Parries, and Morning Glory's gonna call an end to this set here. They just gotta take out the few stragglers. Nobody's there anymore, and this game is over. Morning Glory wins the set 5-3. That is the final here in this top 16 matchup. They move on to take on Team 7 in quarterfinals, and we have our quarterfinals set for Division 4.
Holy moly. I mean, the risky picks there from Resonance, I respect it. They were going into that. They were like, we know what works. We know what's maybe going to work. Hopefully. And though it didn't here, they had their moments. I mean, it was incredibly scrappy in mid there. We've seen this all set. There's so many fights. Everyone's being splatted left and right. This really aggressive play here from Pigment there and on replay. Unfortunately, they did get canceled out there by Yuna, but I can see the members of Resonance are so ready to back each other up. And although sometimes it goes wrong, that is so crucial in a team setting to be like, nah, I'd win. I'd win.
I'm going to give a shout out to both teams. Honestly, Resonance played their hearts out. It ends with a Ludi playoff elimination. They were able to hold this one strong for games 3, 4, and 6. And they honestly played super strong with that double roller comp, almost netting them wins there in the grand scheme of things. Morning Glory was like, all right, we just got to figure out how to deal with that as that time comes along. Of course, the bold move to the end periods, I wonder if that was the thing that held them back here. So we do get to see the final bracket here coming up here soon. By the way, this set did go final. CBA wins 5-0 over Yellow Jackets on the bottom side, so that's why I noted the quarterfinals being done. But yeah, Grace, the lack of pain I felt like may have came back to bite Resonance in the grand scheme of things, because when you don't have much paint, it's so hard to get the zones back each go around, and you have to rely on picks. You can't go down each time.
Yeah, and I mean, we saw that they were really great at like trading out, being like, oh, I got them off of stack, but then you turn around in the carnage as you are floating away because you're dead. And you're like, oh, all of my teammates are also dead. That's not very good. But like you said, they played their hearts out. They had so many amazing moments, and same from Morning Glory here. They must be feeling great. I mean, it's quite the nail biter to drop 3 games. You're going to try to want it to be a clean victory, but Resonance gave them a huge run for their money, so kudos to both of them.
Honestly, shoutouts once again, another shoutouts to Resonance. They played very well. But Morning Glory, you know, they're too rolling. What it feels like they've been regulars in SOS. Of course, you would know on top of it. So Morning Glory kind of really shows, all right, they are a strong team for a very good reason, and they were able to take that home when it all mattered. So that concludes that Division 4 top 16. I'm gonna showcase the bracket here real quick, if you don't mind. Secret Elixir and Golden Lemonberry is gonna be one of the up 4 matchups. Lush versus Surf and Turf. Then it'll be Team 7 versus Morning Glory, and then of course I know that CBA winning 5-0 over Yellow Jackets. They'll be playing Get Kashort. I believe I pronounced that one right. That'll be the rest of your Div 4 brackets there for quarterfinals. Stay tuned for more. Results coming out of that side. But Grace, I've been very excited to commentate with you. You have no idea, and our blog comes to an end here, Grace. So it was fun to work with you, and I know tears are going to be showing. Where can the lovely people find you?
Well, this is a question for you, Keon. Sane Grace or Insane Grace? Where can they find me? Which one do you want to hear first?
I think the Insane. I like that one most.
Okay, Insane in the SOS help desk many weeks, not every week. Have a nice little schedule so we don't go insane. But other weeks you'll find Skep and Tulip in there. Be nice to them for me. You can be mean to me though. I mean I'll be sad, but anyways, more sane. Oftentimes you can find me on Twitter @Tubnug. But Kyon, what about you? Where can the lovely people find you?
You'll hear me not yell at SOS Grace whatsoever. That's the trick. I know that's a big surprise. But find me at Kyon2570, Twitter, Twitch, Blue Sky. You know the drill by now. Hit the follow button wherever you can if you want to hear some of my nonsense. Either on social media or on my streams whenever I pick that one up again. But that will conclude the rest of this beautiful first week of Ludi playoffs there. We had so much fun across Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I was supposed to say Thursday, but that's not necessarily correct here on SplatoonTourney. So thank you guys so much for So we wrap up this weekend very well. That's the end of our doubleheader. So thank you guys for tuning in here on Ludi tonight here on SplatoonTourney with my awesome partner Grace and our awesome producer Jorian. This is Kyon. Saying have a good evening. You are watching Ludi tonight on SplatoonTourney. We will have a great rest of your week. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.